Beautiful.
Stop pulling that mole face.
What's beautiful?
Stop pulling that mole face.
I can't zoom in.
What is that?
Stop pulling that mole face.
Welcome to the Animorphs Book Club podcast.
Welcome to the
Oh my gosh.
Animorphs
Can you go 2 seconds without interrupting her? She's literally introducing the podcast, dude.
Singing
I'm
the theme
Sing
song.
that theme song.
That's the
What
background.
theme song?
That's the background theme to the introduction.
I'm
Oh,
not.
I forgot with the part where we play the background theme to the introduction while we say it and not just edit in later.
Yes, less editing work. I'm not too attached to the opening.
We should sing the opening every time, like to the tune.
You can sing it.
That's what I was doing.
While she was already... Okay.
Yeah.
The opening of the.
Alright, Mustard, go.
That's not the tune. Welcome to an Animorphs Book Club podcast. Yeah, you wrote it.
I can't wait to hear that set to the actual music.
I think I might have been trying to edit the speed so it matches.
Yeah, I can't wait till
No,
2030
just
when
leave
we're
it
gonna
the way
hear
it
this. Well, today we
Alright,
read.
we introduced ourselves.
Oh
I'm Be
yeah.
Natural.
I'm better.
I'm Mustard. I'm Stir. So what are you doing right now?
Playing Glover.
Okay, stop it. No.
The name of this book is the name of this episode is gonna be Aldrea plays Glover.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, you
What's
did play
the-
Glover while listening, didn't you?
What? Yeah, I was playing Glover while reading.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, how was the book? How does the audiomorph voices? You know, you were worried about them making the alien voices really weird.
I wasn't gonna bring
I
this
wasn't
up
worried
during the
about it. I
podcast.
just-
Oh, you
it
weren't?
sounded all
Throw
fat.
shade at Mr. Nice Audiomorphs, man.
Oh,
Thank you,
yeah,
Audiomorphs
you're right.
man, for allowing Mustard and Stir to listen to the thing while playing Glover and mowing their lawn.
Oh yeah, I listened to most of this while on the lawn. Not most
That's
of
so
it.
convenient.
Yeah. Anyway, he gave the aliens kind of weird voices.
I liked some of the voices.
It's not the voices.
The
It's...
Andalite voice hasn't changed. The Andalite voice has always been the same.
Yeah, I just was expecting it to be a different Adlight voice for this different character.
I was gonna say he doesn't have a different one for even the female.
No, I was like, I am an Andalite female, and I went to the ship and grabbed my Andalite blade.
That sounds like it would get annoying real fast.
I got used to it though. It was man.
No,
Actually,
Glover,
honestly,
okay,
I feel like the
okay.
Andalites don't talk differently enough from humans. Especially, like, it seems like Capelgate is trying to make the Andalites sound different, but, like, it doesn't really succeed.
I feel like I don't have hard evidence of this. Like I didn't look back at the Andalite Chronicles, but while reading the Andalite Chronicles, I got the feeling the Andalites like talk differently than the humans do.
Yeah.
But during this book, like they were just talking exactly like humans.
I think Barafin definitely sounded exactly like
Barfin.
Barfin.
Oh, should we just talk about how we pronounce all the names before we start?
I
Let's
pronounced.
do the big argument.
I
first,
said
get it out of the
Barfin.
way. They literally sound like barfing.
Wait, who?
I know. That's
Wait,
why
who
I
are we
said it.
talking
That's why I
about?
pronounce it like
That
that.
was a joke, right?
Who?
Yeah,
Who?
Barafin.
Who's that?
the brother.
The brother.
What
The...
brother?
And
Who's-
Aldrea's brother.
Stir's
Who's
like,
Aldrea?
who's Barrett?
Oh, he
all
wasn't
I
even in the
remember,
second
all
half of
I
the book.
remember
He
was
died.
Glover and Glover enemy and Glover friend
Ball.
character in
Crystal?
Glover. I don't know the characters in Glover.
I don't know how to spell. Some of the names I only heard.
Oh
I
wait,
didn't
what's his
see
name?
it.
Scrimshaw? Screechy?
Scritchy?
Cross stitch.
Cross-stitch, yeah.
Scritchy Scritch.
Alright.
I don't know where the mic is on the screen.
I still pronounced it Aileron the whole time.
That's from Ratman,
Ugh.
isn't it?
Aileron.
No.
Okay, how do we start? Do we do the summary first?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, yeah, let me just do the summary.
Oh, should I explain how we do the summary?
Yes. Go ahead.
So we're gonna summarize the book. It's gonna take less than 5 minutes, hopefully. And
Mine's
then,
really short this time.
and then we can openly talk about it. The book. So, the way we're doing it this week, because for all the Chronicles books, it has to be stupid. Is I'm doing the prologue, and
the
then
epilogue.
you're doing the first ones,
Matter is doing first chapters 1 through 12.
and then Stir, and then Be Natural. We're all
Stir
doing
is
12
doing
chapters.
13 through 24, and then Be Natural is doing 25 through 36. And then
the epilogue.
Mustard is doing the epilogue.
No. 36 is the epilogue.
Oh!
Now the reason
That's
I'm
right,
off the hook for
yeah.
this one is because I accidentally did an extra one that I wasn't supposed to. Because we take turns every
That
time.
is really stupid.
And then I'm doing next week then. I think that adds up if I remember. Anyway, prologue, the Hork-Bajir Chronicles. In this, should we talk about the cover first, or do we not
No.
do that? Okay.
Do that then.
So in this book, the end. Okay.
And we're silly.
In this book, Tobias is flying around. You know Tobias, he's in all the other books. He's flying around. I'm sorry. Okay, let me go faster. Tobias, he sees Hork-Bajir that he saved in book 13, and he's like, "Hey guys," and then they're like, "Oh, let me tell you the story of the Andalite or the war, the Hork-Bajir Yeerk war." And Tobias is like, "Okay," and then the story starts.
Wait, so we're doing it all one by one right now?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were gonna do it like we did it the other. But we shouldn't do it like that because that went awfully, and we discussed them like. Totally
Yeah,
wrong
we're not
order.
doing that.
Okay, so good. All right, chapters 1 through 12. Aldrea is the daughter of Cyril.
Oh my god, Aldrea?
Aldrea.
Oh no.
Well, how do you pronounce that?
Aldrea.
Wait, how do you spell?
Aldrea.
Oh, wait, how do you spell it?
Oh yeah, see, I listened to the audio
Aldrea's
most
okay.
of
I'm
it, so I
not
don't even
attached
know.
to this character. It's
Wait,
okay.
Wait, how do you
Good.
spell it?
Andrea, but with the L instead of an N.
Aldrea.
Andrea.
As long as we.
Wait, there's an L in it?
Aldrea.
I thought it was Andrea.
No.
I like Aldrea. Aldrea's
You were
fine.
listening to this book, right?
Yeah.
I thought that Actor was Octor for a little bit.
Actor.
Because of how I pronounced it.
Actress.
Akdor.
Octor.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, how the heck? I was reading my notes. I was like, wait, how do you spell that? And I was like, wait, is it actor? That's just a word, though. Anyway.
I thought Doc was spelled D-O.
Doc!
I
was so worried someone was going to pronounce it Doc.
I was wondering.
The audio
I
book
know,
said Doc.
but Doc is who
That is
runs
so
away from
stupid.
apples. That's why everyone's away from apples, dude. It's Dak.
Well, I spelled a D-O-C in my notes. So it
Oh,
wasn't reading
no.
it anymore.
This is just more in audio more slaughter.
This is the Audio Morphs Criticism Podcast.
I love audio morphs.
I love
I'm so
Audio
glad that
Morphs.
we caught
That's
up
like when
to us.
that's like when in the last Avatar, the Last Airbender
They say
movie, how they
Ong.
called him Ong instead of Aang.
Huh.
Listen,
It
Doc
makes it
makes
worse
sense.
because Doc is an actual like prefix.
Doc
This guy
makes
is
sense.
Doctor Hamee.
Doctor Hamee.
Hang on.
I didn't even know Hamee was part of the name.
Okay, continue.
I just wrote Doc. I
Anyway,
forgot the rest.
I just thought it was Doctor Doc, Hammy.
Please
He's a
continue with
hammy
the
guy.
summary.
Aldrea is the daughter of Cyril, the guy who first gave the.
Wait, you
Yeerks
say that again because I
technology.
was talking midway.
I already said the first half of the sentence. You guys
Oh,
didn't even let
right.
me get that far. Alright. Aldrea is the daughter of Cyril, the guy who first gave the Yeerks technology. After the Yeerks rebel and steal some of the Andalite ships, she and her family are forced to move to some random planet in the middle of nowhere so as not to cause any more trouble. There, she meets up with Dak Hamee, a special Hork-Bajir who is more intelligent than the rest, and they become friends. Meanwhile, a Yeerk named Esplin 9466 studies all about the Andalites in order to be given a host, as they are in short supply. While Aldrea is out with Dak Hamee, she gets news that some Geds have been spotted nearby and rushes to warn her father. However, just as she gets back to the Andalites' camp, a Yeerk ship shoots it, killing Aldrea's whole family and destroying everything. She swears to get revenge.
Well, that's a good first part.
Yeah.
Nice ending there. Anyway, continue.
Actually, I didn't actually write these down. I don't have sentences written.
You don't have
Your
haiku?
haikus.
No, I don't.
Oh no. Okay. that's
Okay, so
fine.
chapter 13, the Yeerks basically invade the Hork-Bajir place, and Dak learns what fighting is, because they didn't know about that before, because all they do is eat trees.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 14.
You don't do every chapter, just important stuff.
Oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Hold on, I gotta read this.
I'll cut this out. And most book club.
Dak, what's her name? Andrea? Aldrea?
Aldrea.
Aldrea.
Dak and Aldrea talk to each other.
Wow, that was important.
Yeah, that's all I have on that one. Chapter 14. Dak and Aldrea talk to each other.
That's a lot of these chapters.
Yeah,
But you gotta...
Aldrea tells Dak, or they discuss that what the Yeerks are doing, and that they want to take Hork-Bajir next.
One of those classic Animorphs meeting scenes.
Chapter 15. More fighting.
None of this is important.
Aldrea and Dak jump into Father Deep, which is like a swampy area full of monsters.
Which is a euphemism for my butthole.
That too. It's a swampy area full of monsters on the Hork-Bajir land. Like you go down in this.
They go down to Monster Land.
They go down
Oh,
to
it's
Monster
swampy,
Land.
alright.
Gosh.
Chapter 16. It is revealed that monsters are in Father Deep, and
We knew
no
that already.
Hork-Bajir has entered it and lived. Dak and Aldrea.
Why didn't it start with that's in the You
That's
just
literally
say
from way before.
they go in monster-infested hole. That was in the previous
Well,
chapter.
yeah, but they reveal it more in this chapter.
It is revealed that Father Deep is deep and low to the ground.
I wrote Andrea in all my notes.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, I was writing all these notes on my phone.
Wait, Mustard, did it actually sound like Andrea?
No.
Yeah, it did.
But I've read the first chapter before.
I swear, Audiomorphs was saying Andrea the whole time.
I've read the first few chapters before doing Audiomorphs, though. So.
Maybe not. Maybe I just. I'm really bad with names.
But in my notes, I had like I was doing notes on my phone while mowing the lawn. So I read like Andalites, but the first time I typed it, I ended with a Z. So then every time it autocorrected to Andalites with a Z.
That sucks.
It's pretty nice though. It's cool with a Z.
So they're in. I'm just gonna call it Deep Land. They're
It's
in.
called Father Deep.
I'll call it Deep probably.
Yeah.
It's not his father.
It's not my father. I don't have to call it father. I can just call it Mr. D.
We should trade off some of these more often. This is better.
Okay, Mr. Deep. They're in Mr. Deep, and the Yeerks follow them in because they want to go kill him because they know their secret, and one of them is really smart and one of them is Andalite.
Yeah.
Chapter 17. Dak.
17.
Dak.
I have no note for that chapter.
Dak and Aldrea are on an adventure in Father Deep.
Wow, I couldn't have assumed that.
They decide to stay in there because the Yeerks are gonna have trouble following them because there are monsters that kill Yeerks.
Oh, there were monsters.
They go deeper.
Wait, slow down.
They go deeper into Father Deep, into the planet's heart. Chapter 18. It's the Yeerk perspective. They talk about sending troops. It's just.
Oh yeah,
the
we
Yeerk
didn't even
perspective.
say this book trades off narrators.
Yeah,
That's what we said at the
it's
beginning.
like 20%.
It is. I counted. It
Hork-Bajir.
is. There's 16 from Aldrea. There's 12 from Doctor Hamee, and there's 7 from the mysterious Yeerk.
So it's only like
Who
one
could
third.
he be?
So it's only like
Who
one
could he
third
be?
I didn't
Hork-Bajir.
do the math. I just counted.
It was only like 1/3 Hork-Bajir,
Yeah.
and it's called the Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Okay, continue with your summary.
Chapter 18, Yeerk perspective. The Yeerk says, "Oh, those guys went into Father Deep, and we're having trouble chasing them."
I'm moving my phone while you're saying that because it's the least important thing you can possibly. This needs to not make noise.
And that Yeerk wants to take an Andalite and control it.
Who could he be?
Chapter 19. They go further into Father Deep, and they get past Father Deep and go into like a lower layer, and where there's
Oh, so he's your daddy now.
yeah. They
They
go.
made amends.
Father Deep adopted Stir, chapter 17.
They go into a lower layer, and there's like no life there, and they sleep there. And
There's cities, there's abandoned cities.
are there cities? I didn't catch that.
Wait, was there like a big clown boss in like gloves? It's fine. Continue.
Chapter 20. They go in a
How's it
brightly
covered?
colored cave. And then there's
The
another.
NK, what?
Well, they find a brightly colored cave area with like shiny stuff.
Okay, I don't remember that.
And they find creatures, people. I forgot the name of them. It's like
On.
Aaron, something. Yeah, Aaron. They meet Aaron. And it's revealed that they hid themselves from the Hork-Bajir, and they put the monsters in the deep to stay hidden. And then the two protagonists, Andalite and Hork-Bajir, I forgot their names, interrogate one of these.
Interrogation isn't important, just tell us what we learned.
Okay, what did we learn from interrogation? Well, they're pretty advanced. They have computers, and their planet was destroyed by a meteorite.
Which is this planet?
But You
Yeah.
already said that they invented the Hork-Bajir.
Okay, well,
No, we
I'll
didn't.
scratch that. Start over. So this, what are they called? Aran?
Yeah, they are.
These Arans lived on the Hork-Bajir planet, but then a meteorite came and destroyed the stuff, and the CO2 was wrong, so they couldn't breathe right. So they're like, well, we'll live underground, but we need someone to, like, care for the trees.
They
in
created the
area.
Hork-Bajir to harvest trees so they can breathe out CO2 or whatever.
Do they harvest
To
them?
take care of
They
them.
Yeah, they
herd-
take care of the
herd herders.
tree herders.
That's why
So-
they eat bark, because they're created to do
So
that.
the Hork-Bajir are a genetically engineered species of tree farmers for the Arans. They also reveal that the 1 in 10,000 Hork-Bajir are not really dumb, and can think and do more than harvest trees and follow people. They're just genetically smarter. That's why the main character's like that. It's just genetics.
Okay, continue.
Kimba, your fur is white because you come from a long line of great leaders.
Yeah.
Well,
Then they convince this guy to help fight against the Yeerks, because if the Hork-Bajir are dead, then they have no one to farm the trees anymore. So they made a little agreement. Chapter 22. The monsters of the deep come to the Yeerk pool and attack it, led by Aldrea and Dag.
yeah, they mind control them.
Yeah, and the Yeerk is like, oh
'Cause
wow.
They're also genetically engineered.
Yeah. Next chapter.
Which chapter are you on? Are you almost done?
I'm on 23.
Oh, okay.
I like how much longer this is than Batters.
Chapter 23, War.
Yes, war.
Chapter 24, they get...
Store.
Chapter 20... See, now I lost my
Oh, I'm
thought.
sorry. You wanted to rhyme.
Going on another
There's a
5
battle,
minutes.
yawn.
Yeah, chapter 24, there's a battle, and Dak is like... Dak and Aldrea convince the Hork-Bajir to start fighting.
Because he's a seer, so they listen.
Yeah,
to
it's like,
him.
hey,
Or
Seer,
the
hey, do what the
Hork-Bajir,
seer
he's smart,
says.
he's a
Do
smart one.
do what the seer says. And then the seer's like, watch me kill the Yeerks.
Yeah, then the battle begins.
And they do that.
Chapter
Battle
25.
begins. Okay, it's your turn.
Okay, so Aldrea manages to contact.
That's a good ending spot too. Is where like the real battle begins because
Yeah.
Aldrea manages to contact the Andalites and tell them that the Yeerks are here on this planet, and so they send a small fleet, but they can't really send the biggest fleet because they got tricked. Oops. Anyway, they'll be here in like 7 months or something. It's revealed that the Arn have modified themselves so that the Yeerks can't infest them, and they use them for slave labor instead. So eventually 7 months later, the Andalites show up, but they suck,
And the whole time the Yeerks and the whatever are fighting.
the Hork-Bajir and the Yeerks are fighting. The Yeerks are winning. The Andalites show up and they suck, so the Yeerks keep winning. So then months go by and the Yeerks are still winning, and Aldrea eventually Aldrea decides to they notice there's these guys like guarding this entrance to this cave, so they're like
Andalites going.
yeah, there's Andalites guarding the entrance to the cave, so they wonder what that is. So Aldrea morphs Aloran, and she and Dak easily get into the secret room, and they find out that the Andalites are making a virus that will kill all of the Hork-Bajir. So they steal the virus, and then Aloran chases them, and then the Yeerks attack, and then they escape to the surface. Aldrea morphs a Dilf Hork-Bajir, and then they are surrounded...
A dill?
a Dilf...
Female
A Hork-Bajir named Delph.
Oh.
And then they are surrounded by Yeerks, and they get knocked out. Aldrea becomes a Hork-Bajir Nothlit, but the virus got released. Oopsie daisy. So that's the end.
Then the epilogue, it's revealed. I guess we could save that for later, maybe.
Sure.
No, what? Why?
We can just talk about it when we get there if you want.
Sure. Whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
Epilogue's fun. Should we talk about what we thought with this book, like the rating system?
Yes. This is very interesting.
This might be the most split it's
The
been.
most divided.
Did anybody love this book, though?
No.
Okay.
So
Who gave this a half a bumblebee?
I did.
You loved it so much.
No, I think it's half a bumblebee out of 10. That's good. I approve of this.
Okay.
no one's gonna understand that unless they just listen to like episode 1 or whatever.
Yeah,
Wait, who
that
gave this-
episode 1.
Mustard, why did you give this Hop on Pod? This wasn't a silly book.
Yeah, it wasn't at all.
This was a
It
boring
was
book.
just boring.
This book was
Boring?
boring.
This was just a sci-fi
This book was boring.
This had nothing to do with the Animorphs.
I like
It was
this book.
tragic.
Okay,
Just
yeah,
like
we should say our
that.
ratings. You
Alright.
I didn't like it.
you gave it
I gave it a
Yeah,
meh.
give it a meh.
You
You
gave
gave
thumb
it like a
sideways.
confused dog.
Yeah, I gave it the confused dog.
What
Is
covers
that
that
meant to just be
from?
like a what?
It's from one of Capelgate's other books.
Oh,
Like furry
what?
books.
And then Battle gave it a thumbs down. Me and Stu gave it a thumbs up. Good book. My last note was good book.
Really?
No way.
I can
Yeah,
show you
so
my
did
notes
I.
right here.
It's okay.
good book.
I'll take your word for it.
And then add a hop on pop emoji after Stir's done reading because I didn't want to spoil
After Stir's
that it may get silly.
It's not silly. What are you talking
I-
It
about?
doesn't really get silly. It just gets stupid.
I'll get to
What gets stupid? What are you talking about?
Book
It's just a
14.
book.
Book 14 is Hop on Pop. Book 12 is Hop on Pop. But this is just trying to be. This
we'll
is
get
just
you
trying.
how it got silly.
It's
okay?
trying to be
Alright.
serious.
Instead of just talking in vague terms, let's get to some details, okay?
Can I
Beginning
read
of the book,
Never
I
mind,
thought
I'll
was
read that
pretty
later.
good.
Wait,
Middle
should
of
we
the
talk
book,
about the cover
I
first?
thought was meh.
No, we'll talk about the end.
Okay.
Alright, yeah.
I just started reading this book, and I loved this book as a kid.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. And I started reading this book, and I was like, okay, it's not, the writing's kind of bad. Oops. But maybe it picks up later or something. And I just kept reading it.
Well, the writing itself is like every other.
I wrote down
book,
some
but-
points where the writing was like actually bad. Like, okay, I don't know how I understood him so well. I was very, very young. So young that
Who's
neither
this?
Aldrea.
Oh, okay.
So young that neither of the adults paid any attention to my eavesdropping. I was very young then, but I had an active imagination. Maybe that was how I could clearly imagine the awful scene of Aloran stepping over the bodies. I shuddered. It must have been terrible, and I shuddered for another reason, too. I knew, young though I was, that my father would be blamed. Stop saying you're young! You've said that like literally four times in this one paragraph, how you're young!
It's
We
just
get it!
They're aliens.
Yeah.
Capricorn wants to specify that she is not legal yet.
Okay, and that's something I
Do
had.
not
I
simp
was
for
very
baby Aldrea.
confused about during this.
Do
book.
not simp for baby Aldrea.
Because Aldrea is like really young. Like I'm thinking she's maybe like 4 or 5, maybe like 7
Wait, when?
at the first chapter, and she's
Oh, okay.
explaining. Because I'm like, okay, if she's at the same age as the Animorphs, then like how would like she would be able to know what's going on better than this part is thinking, right? But then like for the rest of the book, she seemed way older.
It was 2 years later.
Where's the
And
book?
at the end of the book, it's like she's gonna have sex with Doctor Hamee pretty imminently, right?
Yeah.
Like, so what gives?
She's
What will
suddenly
they-
18.
Well, no, and she's a Hork-Bajir.
I think part of it's because she had like no experience at the beginning as like, but then like she like had to like fend for herself and lead a war, so she became more mature.
Wait, doesn't it say?
She was
Doesn't,
suddenly 18.
Oh my gosh.
doesn't it imply that Dak is underage too?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it says that he's not done growing.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do
he's
say
very
that.
young. Yeah, they say.
Okay,
they
okay.
say he's
Okay,
young.
so I can see them being like 16, maybe.
Well, they're also not humans. Where's the book cover? I
They
wanna
didn't.
look
They
the book
didn't have
cover.
sex until later.
Where's the book?
That didn't even happen.
We have this book physical. Where is it?
Why are we so hung up on them having
I
sex?
just
It's
want to
kind of
look at
weird, you
them.
guys.
I want to look at the characters I'm talking about. There they are.
Talk about that later.
Well, I want to. Okay.
The way they're standing is very suggestive, be natural.
What?
We'll get to
Oh,
that.
you guys are so weird.
Let's talk about chapter.
Anyway,
Do you have
and
any-
that was just I only brought that up because it was giving me a little bit more evidence as to how old Aldrea actually is.
It didn't
which
say
is-
when they had sex though.
I'm assuming they got assimilated pretty soon after the end of the book, right?
No, I didn't
Like a
assume
couple
that.
of years.
No, because they had like I didn't assume that at all.
The Andalites all left. So like, what else could they like reasonably do?
Like hide somewhere.
What do? We read Animorphs.
Yeah,
they
because-
found hobbies.
because They
Okay.
they
What
because
are
they
you
have
laughing at?
kids. And I was under the assumption that the two Hork-Bajir that Tobias saved were not like had a life before they were slaves. For
No, I
a
was
decent
under
amount
the
of
impression
time.
that they
Okay,
were born.
yeah, exactly. That's the question because they had kids, then their kid had kids, and their grandson is Jack Hamee,
Jera.
Jeremy, sorry, Jack, who gets with Ket Halpak, and it's assumed that they're a couple. They were a couple before.
Yeah, so they must have
were
known each other before
controllers.
that.
No, I assume they were born as slaves.
And then they just
But
got
if they were
together
born as
after
slaves,
they-
why would they be named after Zero? Oh, no, that's the previous one.
Their parents named them. I was under the impression that Dak and Aldrea like died soon after this, but they had a child first, and then the child was quickly enslaved, and then he, while enslaved, had a child who was
So why would the
Jeremy.
kid be named a Hork-Bajir name?
Because they just the parents still name the kids. They just the
I don't
Yeerks
think
don't
that's
They
name
just
them.
read their mind and
Why
like,
would the
okay, you
Yeerks?
can.
Why would the Yeerks do that?
Why not?
No,
I don't
that's-
know.
no,
Why
they
don't
I don't
care?
think any of them were born under slavery. That doesn't make sense.
Do
to
we
me.
have any capital Gates like adult books?
Wait, hold up. You think Zero? Are you just talking
Zero
about this
space?
family?
Yeah,
Okay.
this family.
Alright.
I don't care about
It
this
just
family.
doesn't really line up. It just doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah, because this story was passed down through generations, and like I don't think like it would have got
They-
lost if
they-
they were slave for a whole
They
Yeah.
passed on
generation.
They passed
Yeah.
it on while they were in the cages while the Yeerks were swimming around in the pool.
That makes sense.
Okay. Because I totally.
And
haven't
that's
had time
also
to
when
sit
they
down
gave
and
them their
tell this.
names. They're like, "Hey, the Yeerks might say that you're Hork-Bajir 27,842, but you're actually Jara Hamee. I'm naming you right now."
Yeah,
Well,
that
I guess
makes sense.
they could have sex not under being as controlled.
They could
as
have sex in the
in the
cages.
cages.
Oh my gosh, that is dark.
What? That's way less dark than being controlled.
I guess so.
So,
Okay,
prologue.
That's a good. Yeah. All right.
Jara tells a cringe story.
All right. Yeah, that's another thing I have a problem
What?
with. So, Jared tells this story, but it's written as if there's 3 different narrators. One of them being a Yeerk.
Yeah, I didn't think about
Oh
it
yeah.
that way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because my first note was like, oh, I think it's really cool that so far all the Chronicles books have like a canon reason. Like the first one is the Andalite's message that he sends out before he dies. This one is a story being told by this Hork-Bajir to Tobias, which was passed down through generations. But why is it told from the point of view of
Three different
different people? One of whom is a Hork-Bajir.
And
One of whom is a Yeerk, you mean?
One of whom is a
Yeah.
Yeerk who's not even like in the story.
only
but-
one.
One of them who's Visser 3.
And
Yeah, who's
supposedly, Jared Hamee is one of these stupid Hork-Bajir who's not a seer and doesn't really understand what's going on anyway.
He's just good at memorizing words. He
He's good
memorized
at
the entire
memorizing
story.
words.
They just say it's been told a lot of times. 'Cause all-
So that means like some of the details are gonna get fudged, right? Because that's how oral histories work.
Oh, let's see. So this book was intentionally stupid. Anything stupid that happened in this book?
no.
Well, I
Not-
think
not-
I think some of the writing was just like, yeah, it's aliens, it's a story or whatever.
Oh, I just want to say, let me just say, assume that any negative thing said about this book I disagree with.
Aw.
Unless I say something about it.
Okay.
I don't love this book, let me say that. I had a fun time. Maybe it's because I haven't read Animorphs in 5 months. That could be part of
But
it.
see, like the
But
last
this
time,
book was such a disappointment to come back to after 5 months.
Oh, I liked it.
the last time we came back
It was
to
a different
Animorphs
kind of
after
book.
months of not reading it, it was like a really good book. Like,
Book
wasn't it like
19?
book 19 or something?
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, Pog! Pog. What? I don't know how to do the Pog
I
face.
feel like I enjoyed this
Uh,
more than Analyte Chronicles.
Okay, you know what my thought is?
Which I know is crazy
Why?
to say.
My thought is, I don't miss those dumb kids.
Okay, no,
I do.
that
you
I
don't
disagree
like
with.
them,
That I
Stern.
disagree
That's
with.
because you don't like them.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna argue with that.
I miss them from this book. I didn't miss
But
them
I
from the
miss
end.
them.
Like,
I thought I would like be upset that humans aren't in this, but I did enjoy this.
None
book.
of these characters are likable. I didn't care about any of them.
I like all the work
I liked all of it.
Oh, I like the Hork-Bajir.
Wait, you don't like Visit 3? I love the Visit 3 chapters.
Okay, no, Visser 3's chapters were good until you realized that he was Visser 3, and then they were stupid.
Oh, I realized they were Visit 3 immediately.
Yeah, you're stupid.
Well, I had like a feeling he would be Visser 3, but I was still holding on hope that it was just not. But then, it was.
Oh, so you had too high expectations for
Yeah,
this.
I had too high of expectations. That's probably
Visser
why I
3's
didn't
gotta
enjoy
be
it.
in everything better.
He
I
really
guess so.
does.
I think it makes sense he was in it.
It didn't really. He didn't
I
really
love-
do
I love-
anything. He didn't really affect the story.
No, he didn't.
What?
That's true.
He was just
He
one
was
of the
there.
Yeerks.
No, he was an
Okay, no,
important
actually,
Yeerk.
he like almost killed.
He was a very important Yeerk. He's the reason that they're looking for Andalites and stuff. He was super important to this war. That's
Yeah,
why
but
he's
that
Visit
would
3.
have happened if he had not been
No.
He didn't need to be the narrator, though.
They wouldn't have won the war if he wasn't there. He was the strategizer against the Andalites. And it was
Yeah.
cool learning about him being excited about studying Andalites and
Okay.
I liked seeing his backstory.
I'm saying I liked the beginning.
It wasn't. I'll
Besides the
say.
prologue, I liked the beginning like a lot more than I liked the end.
I will say it wasn't necessary. You have a good point, but I will say that wasn't necessary for this book. Like, that could have been in a completely different book and nothing would have changed.
I don't know.
Okay, but like it might as well have been in this book then, if that's what you're gonna say about it.
What did you say?
It might as well have been in this book then.
Alright.
Oh, I'm bleeding.
Anyway,
Okay,
Wait,
here's-
no, what do you mean
well,
it might as well be in a different book? This is his history.
Here's what I think. I think.
yeah, when else are we gonna discuss this?
In the Visser Chronicles.
Yeah, Visser 3 could just.
No, but this is the important events of this war, and he was part of it.
Okay.
It's not that cool.
Okay,
I guess
well,
it's
it should be told from his perspective. That's the thing.
I think that switching perspectives worked really well in this book.
Okay,
Especially-
really?
No,
I
it
thought-
should have been told from his perspective, because how else would we have known it was him? He's just a random dude. Like, nobody else was in his mind.
Listen, most of the Yeerk chapters are just viciously saying what's happening, but from a different angle.
No, there's
Yeah,
cool
it is.
character progression.
Yeah, they were
It is nice to
useless.
see in his head, but like it's not what
No,
the
it was
story's
only
about.
interesting at the beginning, because it explains why he loves Andalites so much.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it explains, like, what it's like being a little Yeerk and
It-
being, like, able to see for the first time.
Yeah,
That was
that's-
cool. But then he just turns into another Hork-Bajir controller, and you're like, okay, why am I reading this?
Yeah, all he does is okay. So I'm just gonna throw out numbers. Chapter 41 is, and then we went and attacked the Yeerks. Chapter 42, I'm a Yeerk. The Hork-Bajir came and attacked me. Chapter 43, we're attacking the Yeerks. This is a Yeerk attacking chapter.
I don't know what
And
you
then the
mean.
story goes on.
No, there was one. Hang on, which chapter? There's a chapter I wrote down. I thought it was a good chapter. I thought chapter
Listen.
18 was really good. That was a chapter.
Listen.
Where he was like talking about how he wanted to be a spy, and like he was the first person who was like, "Oh, we don't have to use controllers just for like as like bodies. We can use them to like pretend to be other people." He was the one who thought of that first. No one else thought of doing that.
I'm sure
Are
someone
you
would have.
sure?
Yes.
There's some
Alright,
Yeerk.
I'm not that committed to this argument, so we can move on.
Let me-
Okay, in chapter 5 or something, there's some Yeerk lore that says that they're. Did it say they're born from decaying bodies?
Yeah.
See, that's new to me.
That was new too, yeah. So his
Didn't they talk
parents
about?
were dying? Dead?
Also-
I think they're just still alive. And then they just kind of morphed.
Also, it says that they had to learn how to take bodies. So there's like Yeerk, they like teach
Yeerk training,
they
yeah.
teach their children how to squeeze into brains. they don't
Another
just
thing
know
about
that.
him being born though, so he has a twin.
Yeah,
Yeah, we know that. He's in book 16.
It's
right?
Metal
Did
Gear
I just
Solid.
read this wrong, or is there 3 Yeerks that come together and form 2?
They come
That's
together
something
and
like
form
that.
like a million.
So
Oh.
how do they know when there's twins?
The one comes from the same grub. I don't know what that means, but
So
that's
the
what it
grub
said.
just splits into 2 as it grows older.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's
Yeah, I
what
like how he's like the there's like the primary and the secondary twin.
Here's what I will say though. The
I'm listening.
the 3 narrators in this book were definitely made it worse because
What?
the only character in this entire book who had an arc was Doctor Hamee. He learned about the outside world and about Andalites, and then he had to learn how to fight. Even though he was like, everyone was telling him he had a purpose in life, and he thought it was going to be some grand purpose to like teach them about science or something. And then he learned no, it's to make them fight, and then he had to go to war. That was his arc. Aldrea's arc. She shows up on the Hork-Bajir planet. She meets Dak, and she said, at the beginning she says, "I'm not like the other girls. I want to fight."
What?
And then she
Oh, yeah,
fights.
she was right.
And then Esplin, he's like, he gets a host. He's like, I want another host.
Wait, you skipped the whole arc about her like being less stupid and learning to like love Hork-Bajirs and becoming one of them.
Okay,
Wait,
no,
what?
she didn't have
When
to
did she
learn
do
to
that?
love Hork-Bajir. She loved them from the beginning.
Yeah, when did she?
No, but she kept lying to the guy, and then she when she learned that her species was stupid, she embraced being a Hork-Bajir because she spent so much time
Like
with
in the
them.
last one page.
No, but that
No,
happened
she-
throughout the book.
she-
There was
she-
conflict
yeah.
the whole
My
time.
problem with Aldrea is that like she was like cool at the beginning, I guess. Whatever. And then she turned mean and started being a witch. And then I was like, okay, so her arc is she's gonna do that, and then she's
She
gonna
started
turn
like
good
flying
again.
on a broom.
But at the end, the story kept pretending like she had turned good again, but I still hated her, and she still kept being like mean. And
When was she
stupid.
mean and stupid?
She was a normal Andalite the whole time.
This
She
was a
mean
toxic
as
She
shit.
lies.
relationship.
She like constantly. Yes, it felt so toxic.
Well, yeah, because she's
Because
an
she, like,
andalite.
manipulates
That's
Dak.
just how andalites are.
Yeah, they're really bad.
I was like, Dak,
And it's
you.
like,
I was
you
like,
know what?
Dak,
This book made me
sweetie.
hate. If that's true, this book made me hate Andalites even more than I already.
I
did.
was like, Dak, honey, get away from her.
Really?
you deserve better.
he is so too good for her.
This book should have been.
So that
I would have liked
and
this to be
her arc was
all-
not being that way anymore by the end.
By like the
No.
last one page, if that. Like I feel like nobody called her out on her
Nothing-
bullshit.
nothing
Nothing.
Yeah, but
felt
she
earned
learned
with her
how.
arc.
She
No.
learned how, and now she's not because she's a freaking dino guy.
She learned and
Wow.
You mean Hork-Bajir?
Yeah,
Dino guy?
yeah.
Dino who lives in Dino Hatton.
So what's wrong with the Visit 3's cool arc?
All he does is he
Cool
says, "I
art.
want to host," and then
He's-
and then he tries, and then he fails, and
But
that's
he
it.
studies and there's cool like war strategy that he does. And...
Listen,
That's not an
listen.
arc.
I read Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Mustard, do you know what an arc is?
Listen,
Yeah,
listen.
that's
I
what all
saw,
the animals follow.
guys. I saw Hork-Bajir
Nice.
Chronicles. I was like, oh yeah, there's gonna be a whole book about Hork-Bajir, and then 90% of it's freaking Andalites.
Yeah.
I wanted more
Stupid
dino
Andalites
trees.
Budding in.
Yeah, I wanted to hear
So
about
the
the alien
Andalite
bark
Chronicles
and
was
how
all
much.
about taxons, and the Hork-Bajir Chronicles are all about Andalites.
Well, no, but the Andalite Chronicles, we learned so much just like from the Andalite perspective of how they live and all that. Hork-Bajir Chronicles, we just heard the same stuff that the Andalites said about them, basically.
Well, no, this wasn't about. This isn't a history.
Again, like this book was really stacked in the front half with Hork-Bajir lore, and then by the end it was just whatever.
Well, no, by the end it was the war, which is what the prologue explained the book is about.
I mean, yeah, by the end it was, okay, there are no more Hork-Bajir. We can't talk about them anymore because they're all dead. That's just how it happened.
Well, that's very disappointing.
That's life.
Anyway,
That's
I-
disappointing.
I think-
Well, this
Well,
is a fictional book.
I
I think it needs to be entertaining.
You know that I thought it was
the
entertaining.
disappointing ending.
It wasn't funny until certain
You'll
parts.
like the
I like.
Last Jedi.
I think the book would have been a lot better if it was just from Dak Hamee's perspective. He could have been like, "Yep, I'm a Hork-Bajir."
and then it would have made sense for Jeremy to tell the whole story.
Which one's the Last Jedi?
But my
Yeah,
some of
that
my
would've
favorite
made
parts
sense.
were the other characters narrating though.
Episode 8.
Hard
Oh.
disagree.
This is 3.
No.
Whose name is Epsilon or whatever.
Listen, I was expect.
I vote Epsilon in like all of my notes. For
Listen,
writing his name.
I was
That's
expecting
fine.
to love Visitor 3's narration because I was like, oh, finally a Yeerk narrating. I was
Yeah.
looking forward to this.
Why
the
is
whole
this way
series.
worse characterization of a Yeerk than in freaking
Oh,
book 19?
because he's a really bad Yeerk.
Well, I don't
Vision
I
3
won't-
is the stupidest.
No, but
Yeerk.
one of the things we learned in the book is that there are some Yeerks who hate being controllers. I thought
Yeah,
that was
I thought
cool.
that was
Okay,
interesting.
well, I would like to hear more about that than...
Yeah,
Like, that was what's her name's Karen.
I want to hear more about the freaking
Karen
dino
looked like
guys
a
eating
controller.
trees.
Okay, no. Stop calling him Dino Guy.
I
We all-
forget the name.
we all
It's
want-
so miserable.
we all want.
Forget the name of book 29 or whatever one.
We all want
23.
we all want different things from this book, but none of us want more Aldrea.
I thought Aldrea was fine. This
She was
book.
fine.
I just had zero issues with this book for some reason.
That's
I don't know
insane.
why, because I hate fighting in books.
I was
Yeah.
gonna
And
say, like,
I
this
hate
has-
I love the Animorphs kids, but this book just
See,
I had
I
a fun
just
time.
I just never miss the kids. I'm like, anytime there's someone besides the Animorphs in a book, I'm like, yeah, these guys are cool.
maybe the book. You know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it was just really good in comparison to mowing the lawn. Oh, this is great in my head. Whatever.
You could relate to the Hork-Bajir who were mowing the trees.
But maybe that's why. But yeah,
I liked hearing some of the, like, how, what's
Well,
her name, Alderon?
maybe another theory.
Alderon.
Another theory. Maybe I liked it more because I spent $7 on a copy of this book. I was like, I better get my money's worth.
I
I'm
like it.
sitting and enjoying this. For real though, I had I don't know.
I like that, like, what's her name was, like, she said how the Andalites work, and it was really stummy sometimes. And I like that we know that.
There was some really cool dialogue between the two characters. I think.
She said that the Hork-Bajir are not very good at concealing their emotions. They have not yet learned the art of lying. Like,
What an asshole.
I know.
but that's just how the Andalites are.
I
Yeah,
love just
and
how
that's why I hate them.
I really like the
They're just
Andalites and
different.
Yeerks just being portrayed as
They're
these really
different,
bad
but
people.
they're in a bad way.
This
I
may
mean, you think so because you're different. I'm different too.
Okay,
That
you don't
doesn't
need
mean
you don't
they're
need to employ
wrong.
this cultural relativism with Andalites. They're not real. Okay, you can say they're bitches.
But that's what I like about these books, is that they have that.
Oh yeah, okay. So
No. Okay, look, I
Like
there's
the-
certain
the-
flaws in societies that I like, but this is just the kind of flaws that get under my skin and just really like activate my anger.
Can I read
The
it?
main bad
Because,
guy's
like-
trying to commit or the main good guy's trying to commit genocide.
Like the Yeerks like are like evil and stuff, but I like them anyway. Like even though they do a lot of bad stuff I hate, I just love the Yeerks.
Can I read a quote in the back of the book?
Yes.
According to Miss Applegate, the Hork-Bajir Chronicles is a book I've wanted to write for a long time. I wanted to show that most stories of conflict are more complicated than any one side would have you believe. Not that good and evil are impossible to find or define, just that reality is usually a little grayer around the edges.
Which is definitely not something she has ever accomplished in any of her other books until this one. And certainly not accomplished in better ways. No.
Wait, this book
is
wasn't
the
even-
book she's always wanted to write.
This book wasn't
This is also Capelgate's hardcover debut on Scholastic. Apparently, this was her first hardcover book.
Yeah, Indolent Chronicles isn't hardcover. That's
Guys, I was expecting to love this book. Honestly.
So, can you give some insight as to why you loved it as a kid?
I just thought it was cool. I was like, oh yeah, cool alien stuff happening.
Yeah, so you as a kid, you were smart.
I don't-
You knew what was going on.
I have no idea why I like this.
There's
book
all
so
these
much.
aliens doing different
I don't
things.
like alien
Alien
stuff usually.
species.
I think I just really liked hearing from all the perspectives.
As a kid, I didn't notice that the writing was bad, and
I don't know what you mean by that.
This is just a basic sci-fi book, and I like that.
I ran
Yeah,
outside.
it's basic, alright.
I ran
Yeah.
outside, unnoticed by the adults. I ran outside into the Yeerk twilight.
Were those right next to
Did
each
you
other?
run outside? Yes.
That's bad.
That's just how she knew it. She's a stupid witch.
Okay, there's one part where I liked it. Because at the end, at the end of a sentence, she repeats the word explosions. I think when the thing is exploding, and I thought that was cool, like a cool way to drive in like the horror of watching her, all of her family members die. And
Yeah,
like,
that part I definitely
it was well done. Though.
I remembered that part. I love the image of her trying to run on a slope.
I kind of skimmed over that part.
Wait, is this part where parents
What?
are dying?
Yeah.
I bet the audio
They just
book.
copied Batman.
He had like flame effects and like screaming sounds. I
Oh,
was like, that's scary.
Okay.
Why are you laughing?
One
I
thing-
know that sounds cheesy.
Okay, one thing.
Well done.
Okay, something I can say about
That could be
Audiomorphs.
well done.
Sometimes it's cheesy, sometimes it's goofy, but it's always memorable.
Animorphs?
Yeah, Audiomorphs.
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 Okay.
Sometimes it's goofy and cheesy, but the voices are distinct and memorable.
I like that the
And I really like having an audiobook of Animorphs.
it's definitely the best audiobook of Animorphs. Because when he's not caught up to us, I freaking use like text to speech with the PDF files, and that sucks.
What a high standard of excellence, Mustard.
Well, also the other Animorphs things like that, but they just
Oh,
only do
really?
like the first book, and it's
Oh,
like, come on, guys, keep
okay.
going, please.
I
Again,
still
really
sometimes
high bar to cover.
He's good though. He's good.
his Marco voice is incredible.
Well, I was just about to say the Arns have a voice similar to Moko's.
They do.
I thought that was
What?
funny.
I like his voice for the Arns. He like put an effect on them.
All the voices were way different than I imagined. Like
Well, I didn't imagine them. I just heard
Yeah.
this whoever
I don't
does
know why. I
Audiomorphs.
imagine the Hooker just having a way higher voice than he gave them. He gave them a super deep voice, which makes sense, I guess.
I mean, it makes sense if you look at the freaking buff one on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I hear like child. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a high pitched child voice.
Mm-hmm.
Who did what's their butt morph into at the end and turn into at the end?
Dilf.
Was
Delph
And
something.
Delph is some Hork-Bajir chick.
She
Yeah.
married Dak Hamee's friend, Jillib or something.
Why are you
Jagil.
asking
Gil.
this?
I just didn't know.
And
who
the
it
only
was.
reason they introduced this character was because they needed a female Hork-Bajir for Aldrea to morph into.
Yeah,
so
that
it
is the
wouldn't be
only
weird
reason.
when she got together with Dak at the end.
Because we can't have gay.
Can't have gay
Can't have gay
Hork-Bajir.
Can't have gay trans Hork-Bajir.
Yeah.
Okay, end of episode.
I barely have any notes on this book.
I have so many. I haven't even looked at my notes.
It's such a
Most
basic
of my
book.
notes weren't that substantial.
I better look at my notes, so the second half
I've
of this
been going
podcast
through
is
my
me
notes.
gonna
They're-
be talking about things I like
They're
for
coming.
2 hours.
Okay.
I'm interested to
Another
hear things
thing
you like.
about the writing I didn't like. I mean, all three narrators introduced themselves as being not like the other characters.
That I was so
Every-
annoyed by.
I'm not like the other females.
One
See,
thing
I skimmed over that part.
Good.
Okay.
One thing I liked is that the Hork-Bajirs listened.
Wait, hold on. Can I
Yeah,
continue?
okay, yeah, sorry. I thought
This-
you were done.
You see, I'm not like most females. Like, okay, and then she says that she likes to fight and she wants to be a warrior, but that doesn't matter in the story.
But she never gets to be a warrior.
I mean, she
no.
does, but like that would have happened even if she didn't want to be a warrior. It would have been a more interesting book if she was like she was like the other females, and she was like not interested in fighting, and
If
then she
they
had to
pulled a
learn.
Cassie with her, yeah, that would have been way more.
And then she had to learn. Also, I thought Aldrea could have been. I mean, this is just kind of like here's what if I were the author, I would have drawn like parallels between her and Rachel, because they both like ended up really liking the war and getting really angry over the war and stuff like that. So if you wanted to like connect that to.
I didn't get what exactly I was supposed to like about Aldrea's character.
She was just
Because
her
she
entire
wanted
character.
revenge for her family.
Her entire character was that she
And
wanted
was really
revenge.
mean
That was
to
it.
Dak and manipulated him to get her revenge.
Yeah, dude, like, I gave her a lot more credit than she deserved, because at the beginning I was like, oh, she's, like, less snooty than other Andalites, because she sees this Hork-Bajir, and she's like, oh yeah, I think
She's
his...
like, oh yeah, let me get to know him.
And
he has
then,
nice muscles.
and then he's like, oh, I think his intelligence, like, is rivals Andalites, which I don't think he...
No Andalite would
I
ever
think
admit that.
even if the Hork-Bajir is as smart as them, Andalites would not admit that.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
Dak points this out later in the book, like, he's so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
But then, yeah, and there were times where, like, she was lying to him. I was like, maybe she's not lying to him, because she got really horny thinking about him earlier in the book.
Yeah, she did.
But then she was lying, and I was like, oh, okay. That wasn't very nice.
And, like, she underestimates him constantly, even though, like, you know, he's the special one.
Well, yeah, her main character trait is Andalite.
Because in the first half of the book, she was like, oh, it's so cool that you're like really, like, smart. Wow. And she was like, always impressed by him, and then she just kept lying to him. And...
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, that you really spelled it out well, because at first she seemed like she was going to be not like the other Andalites, but then she turned into just, her main character trait was Andalite, like you said, Star. And it's, like, so disappointing. Like, you want to see an Andalite whose arc is them learning how to be less like an Andalite.
I mean, she did.
And
by
it
the
happened
end
in,
of
like,
the
one
book.
page at the end.
She's literally not
From the
Andalite.
beginning of the book, she's just fine with the Hork-Bajir. Like, she doesn't have to learn to accept them or anything.
Well, no, but the thing she learns to accept is that they are her people, like the humans or whatever people.
The book needed to do well on that a lot more if it wanted to be an actual theme.
Yeah.
It did not really... Not enough for me.
Like, she said they're her people, basically, because she lives on the planet and because she likes Dak.
And because she likes Dak.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And because she's stuck in one of their bodies. Which
Yeah.
she
No,
hates about all.
No, but the reason she's stuck is because she was like, oh, if we're like, she was like, oh, if we're dying, I'm dying as a Hork-Bajir. We're going in this together.
That just didn't feel earned to me.
Well, no, she has some.
It didn't have that.
Hold on,
I'm
look at my dictionary.
But here's the thing. I think she didn't want to lie to him. I think she just felt like she had to because she's a bad Andalite.
No, okay, she.
I mean, or a good Andalite, I should say.
Okay.
A classic Andalite.
So she like learns to kind of dislike Andalite culture throughout the book. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's still part of it. Like
Explain.
her
Evidence, please?
she seems to not like them.
Well,
like
because
she still is an Andalite. Like
Halfway through the book, like
if I grew up my whole
a third of
life-
the way through the book, she basically gets cut off from the rest of the Andalites.
yeah, by choice.
No, because the Yeerks killed her family.
Okay, yeah, but
That
near the end it's by choice.
All right, yeah, near the end, I guess when the Andalites come back, did she ever really say that she like doesn't like them anymore?
Well,
I mean,
she's
she
like, oh, you're
commits
trying.
treason.
They're trying to kill you guys, so I'm going against.
Yeah,
them.
treason's
Okay,
kind of
yeah,
saying
right.
you don't like them anymore.
That makes sense.
I mean, like if I grew up in a place where it's like, oh yeah, hide your emotions and lie to everyone, I'd probably do that too, you know. But I didn't, and I think that's a bad thing. But I like that there's this species that does that, and it's just they suck, and they're the main protagonists of the
And
entire
they're the good
series.
guys.
I didn't think the Andalites lied so much.
I still find it interesting that the Andalites consistently use United States measurements. For,
that bothered me so much.
they
And
did
I
that
was
in
like,
previous books
Alright,
too.
that got me at first, but then I was like, guys, this book is written in English, you know?
I know. It shouldn't really bother
I don't
me.
wanna
But like,
read a
I'm
book
like,
full
really?
of-
You guys are like spacefaring creatures, and you use yards?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I assume, like, it's written in Andalite language. Somebody translated this to English, and they're like, well, let me just do
Well, yeah,
all the
when you-
American versions, too.
Well, okay, but other units, they seem to like not use like human stuff, and they use yards.
Okay, in the Andalite Chronicles, it seemed like Capelgate was like committed to making them seem like aliens who more or less didn't really use human terms.
didn't
but
they
they kind of
use
just threw
miles?
that out
Just
this
threw
time.
that totally out.
No, I think in Andalite Chronicles they still use like miles or years or something.
They probably did, but there was something.
There was something towards the beginning with the way they measured this thing.
It just seemed like more immersive and more like they were actually aliens. And also the fact, and also I brought up a point in the the part of the book I was thinking of where the writing was like the Andalites were talking just like the humans do instead of a little differently.
Is it hello?
I had a sick video game I was playing.
Well, yeah, basically.
I bought a video game with my credit card.
Barrifin, his whole character is that he just plays video games.
He's depressed.
He does?
He's a doomer.
He's a doomer.
Who are you talking
What
about?
does that mean?
He's
Hey, and Aldrea's brother.
I don't know. I
Who
don't
was not had no
Who
bearing on
died?
the plot at all. It was just so that she seemed more relatable, I guess.
let's move it. Did you look at the planet? Weird looking, isn't it? Oh.
Seems normal so far.
Look at those trees. Serious trees.
Is that your example?
That's how
This is
normal
your
humans
smoking
talk.
gun of why this book is bad.
Serious trees?
Yeah,
They-
sure.
They see trees kind of emotionally, yeah.
That's not what it means. It means big trees.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
No, they're saying it like
Emotional
Marco
trees.
would say, like, oh, those are some serious trees.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing to the yarn?
The what?
There are.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Oh,
liked
on?
them more than the book
Arn.
liked them. Another thing that got
Did
on
the
my
book
nerves.
not like them?
The book, no. Well, at least Aldrea was like, these guys are so evil.
Well, that's because she's an Andalite.
And I was like, no, they're pretty cool.
Well, yeah. They
I
just,
mean, some of the stuff they did was sort of questionable, but it's like,
They
she
didn't.
was so mad at them for creating the Hork-Bajir and like making them less intelligent. But I'm like,
they
well,
make life.
whatever.
Did you-
They turned out good.
Wait,
They're
did
just
you-
fine. They're
they
happy.
just-
You know what's the
They didn't
problem?
create a biochemical weapon.
They're genetic scientists. They just make.
I love
they-
love
they
that
made
they're,
an
like
e-
their emphasis is on biology instead of like technology, and like that informs like basically how they run their whole thing, and like how they decide to defend against the Yeerks. Like that's just so cool.
Yeah, the Yeerk thing, them altering their veins so Yeerks can't attack them, that was really cool.
Right, this species literally, by hand and like planning, created an ecosystem with only their own genetic creations.
Yeah,
and that's
basically.
really cool.
And that's so cool.
Yeah,
Like, they
so,
made an
uh,
entire ecosystem of, you know, the guys eating the trees and the monster at swamp and themselves, and then they just kept adapting
The Monster Swamp was a
with
bit
only
unnecessary.
genetic engineering with their sciences, and that's really cool.
Good job, Arn.
Yeah,
Okay, I
like
guess
these
you could say
guys.
yeah, the monster swamp was like killing Hork-Bajir. Sure, that means they killed them. I guess, but whatever.
I had
I had to check
I don't
something.
think they're
It's
bad guys.
nature.
I think-
You gotta have something to
Capital
kill
Case just
something.
doesn't like people playing God.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Or people who refuse to fight back and be controllers.
Yeah.
Although maybe that's just the Andalites who do that.
I had an Arn OC.
What's
Really.
that?
Yeah, I forgot her
Original
name.
character.
On OC.
I was like, what's RONC?
Well, you said on, I thought you said yawn. I was like, what yawn? There's no yawn in the book.
What about Yoshi's Woolly World OC, you guys?
What do the on look like? Are they like birds?
They're like
They're
centaur
slime.
birds.
Because for like 18 chapters, I just kept writing down the bird things. I was like, hang on, I should just look at what they're called.
Well, I
So
thought they were
actually
just piles of purple slime.
What? They
They're
have
not-
wings!
Okay, I have in my notes, the Arn is a small purple creature.
Yes,
Okay.
they're purple. That doesn't
No,
mean
they
they're
come in a bunch of
slimy.
different colors, though. It said
Oh, well,
Didn't
I
it?
just thought
Yeah,
they
they
were.
look like a
I thought they were little
plastic
purple
quilt.
piles of slime.
slimy pile.
Yeah, they're slimy
the
little
slimy
piles.
little pile.
I have to know.
So they're birds.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Don't they have like skin flaps under their arms that let them glide?
I have
like
those.
Flying foxes or something.
Something you guys gotta know about me. I do not pay attention to character descriptions, which is really bad. Because then I have the wrong image in my head the whole book.
Well, then I just made the simplest image of, oh, it's purple. Okay, that's
Yeah.
a purple blob. But that's what that
Why
character
did you?
is.
Yeah, why?
Down they came,
That's how we do
slowing
it.
My
their
mind just filled in.
Alright, guys, look at us for me.
slowing their fall with short wings. Each of them was no more than half my height, but there were so many.
Is this the on?
They stood on 4 legs. They had 2 elongated arms. They had faces dominated by the glittering eyes and small red mouths. Their chadoos blurted, like large chadoos, but so colorful. Not chadoos, just distant relatives, I think, Aldrea said.
Man, I
Yeah, this is not a very good description.
I read that and
I have a
forgot
pretty
about that.
vivid idea of what
I
we
guess-
should all draw them. I have a
Literally, the only thing I remember is that the relatives of
What
the
I'm picturing in my
shoes-
head is really ugly, so I don't want to
Pikachu.
draw it.
I have a pretty good idea of what it looks like.
They're definitely ugly.
In my
I
idea.
just imagine them as like monks, but like 3 feet tall.
Monks?
Yeah, because they
What
like
does a monk look like?
they have like
Like
robes.
a Catholic monk?
Yeah, sure. They have like white robes and they
Do
go.
you-
Oh,
they
because
go. They
it's
go
like
back
Gregor
and forth.
Mendel. It's like Gregor Mendel.
Because they go back and forth on the bridge in the monk robes.
Do you have pencil? Do you have pencil and paper somewhere?
Do you have MS Paint?
I don't want to use MS Paint. I suck at that.
So do you not just hear something but like not get all the details and then just fill it in with gray blobs?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
I
do
kind
all
of
the
did that
time.
with the Valik.
I usually don't like fill in shapes,
the
but this
blade
time
was-
I
Don't go
did
that
it.
way. Don't go that way. Oh wait, this pencil's over there. Okay, don't knock down my. I have like we're in my living room right now, and I put blankets just all over random walls and stuff in this room
Help the acoustics.
to maybe help the. I don't know anything about sound, but I've been told
I
more
think
blankets
I
good.
think that's helpful.
I don't know anything about sound. I just edit podcasts all the time and make music all the time and edit
Yeah.
sound. And
Well, I'm bad at it. Do we have more to say about whatever we're talking about, or can I talk about the prologue?
I have barely anything to say
Yeah, do we
about
want
this
to go
book.
through the actual plot?
We can do that a little bit.
The plot's
A little
not
bit.
interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't go
Yeah, the
through
plot
my
is
notes.
not interesting. That was the
Yeah,
problem with the
you
book.
didn't care
The
about
first thing I thought was
Oh, so with the end,
do it loud because I'll cut it out anyway. What do you say?
the end, let's say about the yarn, like,
Why do you keep saying the yawn?
the yarn, the
yarn.
yarn.
No, the
yarn.
Okay, whatever.
The Endlight says, twisting life to make monsters is an evil thing to do.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, I don't think it is. But that's from, the quote is from Endlight.
Okay, something I was wondering is
Just another reason to hate him.
were some of the monsters morphs that Visit 3 has now?
Yeah, one of them was the tingly thing was
Yeah.
a monster, and I was like, that is the guy that he turned into in book 11.
I didn't check the names because I feel like a few of them might have been, and I was like,
You know, I could have, yeah. But...
those guys are bad for helping Visit
was
3.
Big Edie Petey in this book?
That's why I wanted to check. I didn't. Okay, let me. While she's doing that, she's getting
Might as
pickier.
well, yeah.
Edie Petey's
Um,
meaty beans.
Now it is worth noting. So the only one that for sure has been in another book is in a book that didn't happen.
I assume he still has that morph.
Yeah, when would he have acquired it? Oh.
I guess it's assuming that one of them survived.
Yeah.
Sure,
what I would guess.
I'll accept that.
Yeah, okay, they do say it's vines, it's Visit 3 in a morph, it's a creature from the Hork-Bajir homeworld.
Wow,
That's
that's cool.
That's in
Every
11.
single living creature in the Herpage
Wait,
homeworld
do
was
you
made
think
by these
Applegate
birds.
just came up with the monster pit just so that she would have an excuse to, just so that she'd have a reason to bring that, like, because she knew that she'd already written that and then
That's a good point.
needed to bring it back.
That probably is what happened.
It probably is what happened.
I think I like
Whatever,
the monster
it's
pit.
fine,
The
it
monster pit's
works.
cool.
So okay, so the asteroid crash and these birds were these aren't the only creature on this planet, and then the meteor destroyed the stuff, and they just made all these creatures to make up for it.
I guess so.
That's just so cruel to me.
I mean, I assume there was plants and wildlife.
Yeah, they're trees,
Like,
I guess. Oh, it said that morphing was like a new thing in this book.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So morphing's like not that at all.
Oh, and that some people think that girls are better than boys at morphing.
Yes.
That seemed like a pretty useless detail.
That seemed dumb. I was like,
It seemed
oh, is that
really
why
dumb.
Cassie's better? I like to imagine
I
that
had
she's just
that
better because
exact
she's
note.
cool instead.
Because she's in tune with nature.
because she's a whale.
Because she's a whale secretly.
Technically, Cassie is a whale who is morphed as a
Man,
human.
it's been 20 books that never brought back the cool whale thing.
The
Good.
cool whale thing that all of us
No,
love.
they brought it back for like one book, didn't they?
Did they? I don't
They
know.
just like had a passing mention of it. Didn't Cassie turn into a whale in that book with the president?
No, the whale was Tobias' dad, wasn't it?
I don't. You
No.
know, he
I'm
could be, and I
confused
wouldn't
about-
even know.
The whale was in the book where they met Axe. I believe that's what you meant by that.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Elfinger never turned into a whale.
No, he is a whale. He's,
Man,
he was a
Hork-Bajir
secret. That
has
was the
become
plot
monsters. I don't
twist.
like.
There's no whales in Animorphs at all. There's one in book 4.
The
And
whale
then-
and
Whale
probably,
warfare
sex
for
was
7
Tobias'
months.
mom.
yes. They're the same size.
Had the Yeerks like making the Dracon beam? That's cool.
All the stuff that you guys are talking about that's cool is just stuff that it was mentioned. It was like, oh yeah, and then this
None
happened.
of this was like, interacted with in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool saying.
The Arn are not builders of weapons. They were creators of life, however all twisted.
Can I go through my notes now? Starting with the prologue. The first thing in this book I thought was cool. Tobias is flying around going, "You and Tobias, I fly
Sir.
in the sky, see her." And he was looking for this valley, cave or whatever, where the Hork-Bajirs live, that they saved in book 13. And the Elvis told him, Tobias, where it is or whatever. And Why are you smiling?
I just thought of something.
And it said that his eyes kept sliding away from this gap where the Hork-Bajir live, as if some kind of negative magnetism would that work.
Oh yeah, I wrote that was like the TARDIS key.
I don't remember how that works.
It
but
makes if you wear it on a chain around your neck, it makes it so that people don't notice you, so you can sneak into places.
I don't remember that
It
at
just
all.
makes their eyes kind of look away.
Oh yeah,
I watched a lot of Doctor Who.
No,
That was
it's.
from the episode with the Master.
I thought that was a different thing. I didn't realize that was a TARDIS.
I might have skipped that episode.
It's a minor detail.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you watched it but just forgot.
I think he's used it in,
No,
like,
the Master
other
episode,
seasons.
that was like one of like 6 episodes on Netflix that I just didn't watch for some reason. Like, still watched it instead.
Oh, okay. Instead,
I like
as
that
if
show.
neither of you can both watch the same episodes.
That's for
But yeah,
Twister.
it was cool Elemist magic. And I just want to point out, I still imagine that Elemist is a big giant eyeball, even though...
I imagine it's a big giant white ball because that's
Because
that's
of,
just what God is
because of
trying to-
book 6.
He's never brought back the freaking eyeball thing.
God is a white
I'll be
ballster.
back.
It could be, yeah.
Why are the legs so stubby?
They're stubby. That's what it says in the book.
That's stubby?
Hold on, let me
Oh,
draw.
that's actually pretty close to what I thought it looked
Hold
like.
on, let me draw what I thought they were.
I literally,
Yeah.
when I think of this character, I do not have like a definitive thought. I just have like a gray blob that maybe sometimes it's a monk, sometimes it's a bird, sometimes it's pink slime. Like, I really don't think about this stuff when I read. We need to take pictures of these.
What is that character from McDonald's? Who is this?
No, this is the.
Gloppo? What's his name?
Glop? It's the Grump?
Yeah,
no,
Grumpo?
no, it's Gumbus. What's his name?
The big
Grimace.
glump, the big,
Grimace.
the big grumpus.
This episode's gonna be really good. It's already an hour long. And I haven't even gotten past my prologue notes.
There we go. But purple.
That's a good drawing. Yeah. Get this off of the microphone.
That's
Aw,
the best Arn
I
drawing.
love it. It's not an iron, but it's something. Looks like a beluga whale that just kind of melted.
How does that make things?
With its arms. That's why I do the arms on it.
Where are the fingers?
It's
Elite fingers.
It's a blob. It doesn't need fingers. It just blobs. It like to grabs things.
You're right, yeah, that's exactly what I described in the book.
Yeah. One of my notes is just about audio morphs.
I've had the same image of Arn in my head for like however many years it's been, like 8 years or whatever. So that's the same image I've had.
Do you want to know what I was giggling at?
I did not revise my image of the Arn reading through this again. Yes, what were you giggling at?
So like you know how Tobias shows like seer.
Yeah.
So what if you had like a seer chin? It was like a chin, and it would be called a seer chin, like
Okay.
seer chin.
The chin would help him make that noise.
I don't know, but
Well, maybe
I just want there to be something called a seer chin because it's.
I have a better idea. So
Well, you know, there also the Hork-Bajir called seers. but
yeah,
that's-
and they know somehow that it's different. The way they know that is because of its big chin.
Yeah, but-
unlike all the other ones.
A detail that they didn't think to mention in the book.
No.
Yeah, but that's not. I think it's funnier if it's on a
Seer
bird.
But they don't really have chins, right?
Yeah, Tobias
They
has
don't
a
even
seer
have
chin. That's where
mouths.
the noise comes from. They
Yeah,
don't
they
have
don't have
mouths. Is that the thing that Capordate said?
Yeah.
The
Said
birds
like
don't have
4 times.
mouths.
Said like
Yes,
3 times.
repeatedly. Birds do not have mouths because they have beaks.
I wrote on what does cavorting mean? That's one of my notes.
Cavorting, like you know, like being
Like-
in a little group, like conspiring.
Thou shalt not cavort your neighbor's house.
Yeah, that.
Then it's set up by there are about a dozen Hork-Bajir living in trees, raising families right now. So that's how many Hork-Bajirs are free on Earth now. It's a
Oh,
dozen
cool.
about.
Yeah, I'm confused. So the Elemist just rescued more of them? How did there get more than just Jeremy
Oh,
and
wait.
Cat Hallback?
I don't. Hang on. I
we'd
think it
have
said
to-
something about
we
that.
would have to read book 13 again, I think.
This was established in book 13.
Hamee and Cat Halpack just reproduced really quickly.
Maybe. Somehow, this is just referring to Joe and Cat. Somehow they escape. Don't ask me how. Ask the guy who doesn't interfere in the lives of other species. I played a small part in the Elemist's plan to create the free colony of Hork-Bajir. This is twice talking. Not that the Elemist interferes with the lives of other species, so he claims. Right. He was very sassy about the Elemist lying.
Wait, what book is that in? About the
Book 13.
Okay. Wait, what is book 13 with the Hork-Bajir?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
The device gets his morpho back.
Wow, that's a crazy book. There's a lot of good stuff happens.
Uh,
Man, they build the blade ship and it's like invincible to.
It's like, why did they have to bring in the
Fire.
blade ship and the bug fighters and the
It's
Dracon beams
cool.
all
I
in
can
this
see all my
book?
favorite. I can
This
see
is
all
like
my
what
favorite.
YMS was complaining about with Cruella or something. It's like every single little
Everything
thing
has to be explained.
Yeah.
I get to see my favorite tools and their origin.
I
I thought
don't
it-
care.
I thought it was cool that I'll get to that later actually. No, I'll get to it now. I thought it was cool. Unless you guys already knew this, I didn't assume that the bioweapon that the guy used against the things was on Hork-Bajir.
I didn't either.
Because I checked the Under Chronicles, you know, the Alolan,
Yeah,
Alolan,
yeah.
he was dismissed. What's his? He was
Honor-
bad.
He was bad.
People analysts don't like him because he used this bioweapon.
I assumed it was against the Yeerks.
And I checked. It never
Why
says.
wasn't it against the Yeerks?
Yeah, I don't know.
It never explained it was against the Yeerks.
No, no, it's not against the Yeerks.
I mean, I know that it isn't, but that, like, wow.
In Under Chronicles, it says, "Oh yeah, he used a bioweapon in the Hork-Bajir war." He never said that. It never said that he was killing Hork-Bajirs with it. And I was like, "Wow, that was a big twist to me."
Oh, their
when
wings-
That
was
is a big
revealed.
twist. I was wondering when they'd bring that in, but I didn't really quite make the connection.
Their
because I
wings are
forgot
on their arms?
I guess, yeah. That's
no,
what I
they're
assumed.
like their arms are like
They're not like how you do it.
I thought they were like flying foxes because they were like their wings were like stretched between their legs, right?
I definitely imagine them being ugly. Like one thing was like, yeah, they're definitely ugly.
They're definitely
thing.
really ugly. Yeah.
Sometimes they look like the teenies in Rayman.
Teensies.
Sometimes they look like.
Is there some place I can plug my laptop in?
Yes, right here.
You can unplug
What are
mine.
we talking about?
You guys want to talk about Party 5 or no?
Oh no, we're talking about genocide.
Okay.
Maybe he just didn't want to kill the Yeerks, just he was attached to them, because like.
What?
No, he wasn't.
No. What are
He
you
was the
talking
guy who
about?
literally
Oh,
decided
I'm
to
mixing-
exterminate a group full of Yeerks.
I'm mixing them up with Zero.
Yes.
My guess is that I think he just wanted. I think he realized that they can't stop the Yeerks, but they can stop them from getting more Hork-Bajir. I think that was his plan.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And they're like, okay, kill all the Hork-Bajir so we don't get any more.
I had to look up who Aldrea was.
What? I recognize Epsilon. I recognize all the names in the book. I was like, oh, Epsilon,
I
yeah,
recognize
that's
Epsilon.
Visor. Oh, yeah.
I recognize-
Oh yeah, did they mention?
I'm proud of you,
Elfsling?
Mustard.
Although also, I
Did
guess I
they
edited the
mention Mr.
episode.
Three's
so.
Yeerk name in other books? Because I feel like they did, but I just forgot.
I think they did, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did.
I was gonna check, but I was just, that's gotta be Visor 3. Knowing Capelgate.
I mean,
I'm
yeah, they
gonna
revealed
check.
it, but at least book 16, he was like, yes, I am Esplin
I don't remember
9466.
exactly his name.
Wait, when did you realize it was Visor 3?
As soon as he said the word Android.
Okay, I kind of figured it was. That was when I knew for sure. But like I kind of figured, but I was kind of hoping it wasn't. You know, I was kind
Okay,
of.
hold
So
on.
it wasn't when
It
Tobias
wasn't
was
like I was too stupid to realize. Oh, this must be somebody who isn't Visser 3.
In like chapter 8, I said, is this Visor 3? So, chapter
When was the
8,
first chapter that they introduced him?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, also,
I don't
They,
know.
Thank you.
just like at the very end of the book, is there we on the very end? Like, I don't
Yeah,
want to talk about
we
this
don't have to
plot.
be in order. Yeah.
What the Hork-Bajir pulls the slug out while it's already reading the
That-
thoughts of the.
Visser 3 survived at the end of this stupid book.
Well, obviously he
Oh.
did. You
Well,
have
they
to keep fighting the
They
animal.
shouldn't just.
I know there's a good reason why he can't die, but they could have written it so that he didn't get so close to death and just have the characters be idiots and not kill him.
Listen, I wouldn't want to stomp a slug. That's just rude.
All right,
It's just rude.
no, okay, so I can see. All right, so Dak
Oh!
is on the ship with Visser 3. He's a little slug on the ground, and Dak looks at him and is like, "Oh, well, you know, I don't really feel like killing, whatever."
Well, no,
Okay, sure, fine. He can say that. There was another Hork-Bajir, the same guy. He is not a controller anymore. He had Visser 3 in his brain. He gets out, and then this other Hork-Bajir also decides not to kill him.
Well, I think he's so dumb he doesn't realize why he was being controlled. Like I said,
But
when...
the
What did
Hork-Bajir
you just
knew to
say?
kill the Yeerk slugs. Because Dak Hamee started killing all of them when they were in the Yeerk pool.
No, but that one was captured before that happened.
Oh, these are
actually.
pretty, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Also, Aldrea said she specifically didn't want to kill it for some reason. Oh, because it was in her. No, it was because she was. Oh, I thought that was a really interesting line, actually. Because so when the Yeerk was inside the Aldrea, she could see all of its memories, and then she said, "I saw inside his memories. I guess nothing is ever as simple as it seems," which I interpreted to mean that she gained sympathy
he
for
crawls
Visithy
halfway.
somehow.
That's what it means. But
Yeah.
he crawls halfway into her brain, starts connecting. They share memories. He doesn't crawl all the way in for some stupid reason.
Like he's
He was getting in
he's
there
a
still.
slow little slug.
Oh my god.
There's no water to lubricate it of the Yeerk pool. You know, they dump them in.
There's a lot of friction.
Are those just real eyes? Do they have
Sure.
like back legs? No, they don't have any legs. They're just slime.
What are?
What are you guys looking at right now?
The art pictures I'm sending.
A bunch
Oh,
of
I didn't know you were
things.
sending pictures.
This last one is from Cinnamon Bunza. So this is the one I saw when I was a kid.
Okay, no more talking about images.
Well, you gotta put them all in the thing.
No one watches the videos though.
I really like the last line of chapter 45. It just says,
45.
yeah, 45.
There's no chapter in this book called 45.
And yet, in my powerless rage, there is part of me that still could think of nothing but that sweet memory of that overwhelming beauty of an Andalite running free. So the Yeerk sees an Andalite running free, and he holds on to that.
I
He
think that'd be
likes
so
that.
cool, but we never see any of that in Vistor 3 ever again.
Yeah, 'cause he has an Andalite now. He's done.
He did it.
Yeah,
He did it.
He
got
did
the
it. Good
memory.
job.
Woo!
It's-
But
that was-
you
that
know
was
me, I
touching.
love the Yeerk and non-Yeerk mind meld. I thought that in itself was cool. Just the way it didn't lead to anything. It was bad.
Yeah,
One thing we didn't say, this takes place in the late 60s.
it does. Says who? Says who? Says who?
It says the beginning of the book.
What do you mean the beginning?
Also, that lines up with after that was the.
Oh, so we know that Hork-Bajir generations are about the same length as human. Then
No,
what?
because Hork-Bajir age way faster, don't they?
Well, no, but it said that that was 3 generations ago.
Yeah.
Our parents are like that age though, not our grandparents.
Okay,
Also,
so
this is the 90s.
So they age a little faster.
Oh, this is the 90s.
Okay, so they age about twice as fast.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so that you're right. It's weird that they had the date at the beginning because then months passed
Oh, this is
later.
1966.
And they didn't have the date again. That
Yeah,
really
they only had the
annoyed me.
date at the
They had
once.
they had it on chapter 1 and then chapter 2.
And then never again.
Because 2 years passed, but never again. When
Oh really?
7 months
Oh my
passed.
god! What? It's like they just forgot about it.
But they had the month in Earth year, Andalite year, Yeerk
So this
year,
whole
and
book
Hork-Bajir
takes
year.
place the same year that MLK was assassinated.
Why didn't they reference that? It was really important. That's good.
It dramatically altered the landscape of the time.
No one's gonna get that whenever this comes out. That's such a
It's fine. We
Top
get it
cool
now.
bit.
I used
Wait,
to.
what? I don't what?
I used to
don't
watch
what?
the Mysterious Mr. Enter when I was in middle school. I watched his videos. Oh, these are cool videos.
In his Turning Red review, he got mad because
Oh,
it takes
yeah,
place in
yeah.
2002. Yeah.
Oh,
Let me
okay.
just explain this for our viewers. It takes place in 2002, but none of the characters or any of the scenery mentions that 9/11 happened, which is so unrealistic. Despite the fact that the movie takes place in Canada, and all the characters are middle schoolers.
Mr. Enter just couldn't believe this. Everyone's dunking on him now.
Because there's a woman in a hijab, you see, and none of the other characters seem to be frightened of her. So
Is that really what he says?
he shows the clip of
Yeah, he shows the clip. I think it's implied.
May scaring the woman in So, ugh.
I have nothing else to say about this book.
I'm going through my notes slowly. So
Okay, I have different notes open now. I have,
so one thing. So
I want to be a Hork-Bajir. Hork-Bajir, the society sounds so cool.
Well, not anymore.
Well, I know it's so tragic.
Yeah, this is
But
a tragedy.
I want to be a Hork-Bajir years before this
At
happened.
the end of the book, Tobias is like, "Well, what happened next?" And then Jeremy is like, "Well, that's where I'm gonna stop telling the story." But the story never ends because stuff always happens next. So yeah.
How deep?
How deep?
Didn't Doctor Hamee mean something in English? Or
No.
you move the letters
Hamee.
around.
Fat.
I was
Buck.
thinking
Like
maybe it's
backwards.
a name how Jeremy sounds like Jeremy. but it doesn't really. I don't think. Dakami.
Something like that was cool lore.
Dakami.
It explained like Zero's kindness, because my assumption about Zero's kindness was that he showed up, was like, oh, look at these poor slugs, I'll give them stuff, and then left, and then they used that power, used whatever, and gained power. But what actually happened is he like became friends with like them and like the leaders and stuff, and then
Yeah, that made me so sad.
Yeah,
Just
and
how
then-
the Yeerks turned out to be bad.
yeah, and they were there the whole time, and then basically they started killing Andalites with the controllers they had, and just rebelled. And then the whole time CEO was like, no, these are my friends. They wouldn't do this. This must have been like some rebels, a small group.
Yeah.
The Council 13 would not approve of this. And then Visit 3 actually says, I'm gonna call him Visit 3 because
Sure.
that's who he
Yeah.
is.
Go ahead.
But at the time he's a freaking little slug, nothing. And he's like, oh yeah, that was led by Actor. That was like his.
Well, there's a couple of other Yeerk characters who are there. They don't really affect anything.
They're just fans.
There's a lot of characters in this book that are just kind of there and don't really do anything.
Well, that's what people do.
Yeah, but it doesn't make for a very riveting story. All of Aldrea's family is just there so that she'll have something to be upset at, and also because this needs to be connected to Zero for some reason. And then, Dakami has his friend who gets a girlfriend, and that doesn't matter either.
She has to be there. Man. Yeah, silly.
Yes, Dakami has to have a male friend. He can't just have a female friend who Aldrea can... Well, I guess
That's
would be
impossible.
kinda
Men
weird.
and women can't be friends.
I don't even notice that, honestly. I ignore characters on important when I read books. So I was like, oh, I guess they're probably important. Oh, she's morphed him? Okay. Or her. But yeah, I just thought it was cool. And then, back to Zero, he just, kept holding on. No, he kept believing, assumably falsely, that not all Yeerks were like this. Well, I think it was slightly, a rebellion. But I think the Council of 13 like, oh yeah, that's a good idea,
Why do you think that?
Because Actor
Oh, good explanation.
let it. Wait, no, didn't it? I think it says he was planning it the whole
No,
time.
he was just part of it.
I don't know. Not all Yeerks are bad. We know that.
You know that.
And
See,
this,
but if it was a different Yeerk, then it could have been, leaned into that more. But it had to be Visser 3, so he had to be evil.
yeah, Visit 3 was very evil in this. He was like, oh yeah, I heard it. I heard my host screaming, and I laughed.
Also,
He does a lot of mustache twirling when he gets that Hork-Bajir body.
also just kind of kicks the Andalite a bunch.
I thought it was cool. I loved reading about Visit 3, learning about the Andalites, being excited about getting an
That was
Andalite.
cool.
That was for 2 chapters of this book, and the rest of it
And
was,
then he
I'm
just-
Bishop 3. I like catching Andalites and killing Andalites.
Exactly.
Like he does in the whole series. He's the worst written character in the entire franchise, and he's in every book.
Wow, thank you for agreeing with me on this, sir. Guys, remember when Visser 3 was actually scary in book 1 and 2?
Yeah. His scary comes back in bursts
Sometimes, and then he goes back to twirling his mustache.
I like both Visit 3s.
I don't.
Yeah.
I just want to say something quick. The whole Zero thing, this might be cringe, but it reminded me of R/Place, where
Okay.
I'm not gonna name names, but I was contributing mainly to one group on there who were trying to build a thing on it. If you don't know what R/Place is, it's a thing which is hosted by Reddit, where there's 1,000 by 1,000 pixel canvas, and you're allowed to place a pixel every 5 minutes. So people contribute to draw things on there, and it was real wars, man. There was negotiations, and at one point we got attacked by our neighbors, and then I was negotiating with them, and I was like, well, no, this was I did what happened to see what happened to me. I was like, no, this is not, they're not bad. I was talking to them last night. I was making negotiations with them. They didn't want to attack us, and then they're like, oh yeah, it was just some renegades. But then they ended up attacking us again later, and then we lost and had to move, and it was crazy. So I related to Zero in that instance.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was cool, and yeah.
Yeah. That was
Capelgate's
cool.
been in real war.
Maybe Capelgate has been on R/Place.
My only note left is just a timestamp on Audiomorphs.
I'm still on chapter 2 in my notes, so I'm sorry.
Well, we have nothing to say about this book. Nothing happens. I like it.
It's not slavery, though.
What? What's not
I just
what?
shared this because I wasn't expecting to
Because
see
he
a Rick and Morty meme.
Stop sharing! Stop! No images on my podcast. Oh, this guy's closer to what I imagined they'd look like, actually.
What's what, the Rick and Morty guy?
There's this green Rick and Morty guy.
Yeah, this is more how I imagine.
That's how I imagine all would look like.
Yeah, it's closer to that.
This guy who engineers an entire race just so they don't take out a bunch of trees.
Yeah.
Does that happen to Rick and Morty?
No.
No, but he does say blah 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 extra steps.
Oh, well, that sounds like slavery with extra steps.
Well, that just sounds like slavery with extra steps.
Oh, okay, I see people just change the word slavery to other things.
One law of Andalites, which is what happened to Zero, is that the inferiors can fire a prince if it has an injury or mental defect.
Oh, that was hilarious.
And
I
then he's
laughed
like-
at
That was
that.
stupid.
He's like, which mental defect do I have? He says, stupidity. You're too kind. No, whatever he said.
I was
after
like,
that.
dang.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
burn.
funny.
Also, it said that the female traditional roles are scientists or artists, including zero space theorists. That sounds cool. Grasscape designer, which I guess is like a landscaper of like dome ships, or cloud artist. What do you guys think cloud artists like paint in the sky?
No, they just move clouds to make pretty pictures.
That's really
That sounds really stupid.
That sounds awesome. What are you talking about? This is cool.
they're like skywriters, but like pictures.
They're like skywriters, but
One
they
thing I
just
was
move
wondering
the
was like,
clouds.
do they
They're
need to be
making them.
cloud artists because they don't have paper yet?
This
They
year
didn't invent
looks
books.
way worse up close.
Okay, don't talk about it. Bester don't like that.
Yeah, don't talk about pictures. That's awful. And as soon as I can describe them. Also said that Andalite females' tails are more like scalpels than scythes.
What's a scalpel? Which one's a scalpel again?
Scalpel's like what
It's
tiny
like
thing
the
that
tiny little
happens.
knife that surgeons use.
So I assumed to have blade was like literally like 2 inches long the whole time.
No, it's
Okay.
just pointier.
Because it says it's like a scalpel.
It's just-
No, it's just not scythe. It's just not a scythe.
It says
It's like a knife.
I guess, does it mean that they're straighter? Yeah.
we have
Just
smaller tail blades, more like scalpels, than our great curved scythes of brothers.
That's not what the cover of this book would
Yeah,
imply.
the cover it looks like a scythe. That looks like a scythe on the cover.
Okay, can we have a comparison between Althea or Ilea, whatever her name is, and Elfangor to see their tails?
I think it's like maybe twice as big, but it's like that's definitely not scalpel to scythe ratio.
Here's my last note.
I'm gonna read through my notes really fast.
I laughed and danced around. Well, it sure isn't the script not up there frying yerks.
I wrote that sounds like something Bullwinkle would say. Like, oh wow, it sure
That's
isn't
his
the
voice.
script
That's
now.
Audiomorphs?
Yeah. Oh, you never heard him?
I thought that was like a YouTube video that was just trying to be silly.
Audiomorphs are
That's how he
boring.
talks at the end, lights.
Gosh, I don't know
and
that.
laughed and danced around. Well, it sure isn't the script not up there frying yerks.
That just sounds like a Bullwinkle line. I thought it was really funny.
It does. That's
You
delivered
read that,
exactly
doesn't
like
That's something. That's
Bullwinkle
something
does.
Bullwinkle would say.
Yeah.
The voice has similarities to Bullwinkle's voice.
Did I say this already? I like that this like people all the Hork-Bajirs like didn't think Dak was stupid. 'Cause that one trope that annoys me is like when the guy knows what's when like one character is like warning people of someone and they're like, "What? No, you're stupid."
In Invader Zim, it's funny though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I'm glad that wasn't the case. So
When it's played for drama, it's not.
Yeah.
not cool.
I mean, having him be someone who everyone's like, "Oh, you're the chosen one." I mean, I guess that's kind of a tired thing, but I like that more than them not listening to him.
I like the arc. I like Dak's character arc enough where he's like, oh yeah, my purpose is to teach people cool stuff, and then it's like, oh, it's to teach them to fight.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then I liked when he went down to the Arn, and they were like, we just couldn't figure out how to get rid of you. You don't
That was funny.
like that was like he,
Although it made me
had no
not like
purpose.
it as much, I guess.
Oh yeah,
Because then he was like, okay, so he's gotta like accept that his whole life is a lie now,
yeah.
and he doesn't really do that a lot. He's just kind of like, oh, I'm
Well,
still
yeah,
a
because
seer.
this book isn't good.
Well,
but-
what do you mean?
yeah.
What's wrong with his life being a lie? What do you mean?
Well, no, it's cool. I would have liked that, but this book didn't really lean into that much.
He's just
What's he supposed to do? I don't understand.
Be like, oh, my whole life is a lie.
He
Right,
knows
I don't
he knows the
Maybe
religion.
I'm just not.
He knows all the religion stuff is fake. I think he figured that out a long
like
time
he knew
ago.
that before because
Yeah.
of Aldrea. Okay.
And it's just like, yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Like, I think as soon as they learned that like the stars weren't flowers, and it's like, religion is.
And like he didn't angst about that at all. He just kind of accepted it.
I don't need Hork-Bajir.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
That seems like a normal thing to do.
I thought it was really weird that like this one alien shows up and is like, yeah, those stars aren't flowers, and then he's like instantly accepts it. Like instantly rejects everything he's learned in his entire life because some alien who he's never met, he's never seen before, comes out of nowhere.
No, it's because it comes out of Mother Sky, which is what the religion told him that it would come from.
Also, this guy doesn't have much in common with his people.
Yeah. Like, he understands that he's a lot more...
So he just doesn't believe in religion, then?
Yeah, he's just atheist, that's all.
Visit 3 was born in a sterile tank below a portable Candrona, and has never been on the home planet.
That was a cool detail. Yeah, I like that.
I like the idea that like the vast majority of Yeerks are just still on their home planet. I like that. It's not like the entire Yeerk population is out being an empire. Like the vast majority is just poor little slugs.
Yeah, Capelgate seems good at just writing different species and different things that they do. That's why I get tired when every book is just about 5 dumb kids. I don't hate the Animorphs.
Yeah, you do.
I think they're bad people and dumb kids.
But I don't hate them.
They're not as bad as like.
No, I think most of the books have
Analyze.
a good balance. Like I don't need it to have cool stuff.
Yeah,
I don't need it to have cool alien lore to be good. But if it's a book that's focused on cool alien lore, it needs to be better than this.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you guys think of the Endlight Chronicles?
Great.
I
awesome.
liked it.
My
It wasn't
favorite.
like my favorite book or
My
anything. But it
favorite.
was cool.
Once I talked about it, I really appreciate like all the lore that it gave us. But I think while reading it, I enjoyed it less than this one. Maybe because it was so long, and because I was playing Mario Sunshine during it, which was more interesting and more in the
Then
line.
mowing the line. Oh.
Yeerks are on generation 685 in this book, but then
I like all of their different ways of measuring time.
yeah, and then in 2
and
years
let's just
later,
say screwed doing US measurement.
2 years later, they're on generation 686. So one Yeerk generation is like 2 years.
Which doesn't make sense because they age like humans, right?
I guess they just
live really long.
have babies a lot.
Yeah,
But they die when they have babies.
What they do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like ants where they have like one that just has babies.
Oh, that's a good question because like some Yeerks live a long time. So are there just dedicated Yeerks to making more Yeerks?
Maybe.
That's kind of weird.
That's the
I guess
other way it
that
should be.
kind of makes sense.
Like, to have an abundance of fresh Yeerks when these other Yeerks are valued for like their experience and like being around for long enough, you know?
It's like Minecraft farming.
How?
I don't know.
I don't really care how it is, but
Hey, Master, take a photo of this to put on the podcast.
I
Right?
will.
At least in the channel.
Yeah, I will. Now I know.
Mustard, draw
Who's
your one.
I
Yeah.
have no image. I can't draw one.
Draw Bob.
His image
I have nothing to
You
draw.
don't have an excuse because Stir drew one.
I had a distinct image. It was
I
just
have
a
no
blob.
image in my head of them.
I don't understand how you can see the events of this book playing out without at least having something.
I have like vague images. Nothing I could draw.
Okay.
You'd be like trying to draw a dream you had.
I'm sleepy.
There was some weird math in the book where it said 1 in every 10,000 Hork-Bajir are a seer,
Yeah.
but I was led to believe that he was the only seer existing at the time.
At the time, yeah.
Yeah, but then they enslaved like 100,000 Hork-Bajir in this book, and it's like, shouldn't there be like 10 more seers then? That makes no sense.
I didn't think about
I was
that.
keeping very rough track. I was like, hang on.
Maybe they killed.
they
maybe they
took 20
just killed some Sierra.
But okay, so I had 2 explanations for this. Is one, maybe he's the only seer in that tribe of Hork-Bajir? Because there were like different valleys or something where
Yeah, they
he
have
doesn't talk
different
to them.
valleys.
Maybe there's only one Seer at a time. Maybe that's only one Seer possible. In
Maybe.
that species.
Maybe that's how it works. And then
So
also,
how would it be 1 in every 10,000 then?
They're just having babies more than usual lately.
but another thing I thought of is maybe, so the 1 in 10,000, that's what the on says. Is like, oh yeah, 1 in 10,000, that was a big mistake. Maybe the odds got lower as they had more generations and stuff. And the owners don't know, they don't keep up with it. You know, they said, oh yeah, 1 in 10,000 is born with that. and it just got less likely.
I think it's just a coincidence that what's his name was the only one in that valley, and that he's like believes, because we know that the seers aren't like a real religious thing anyway. Like there's no mystical explanation for it. So I think it's just, you know, their evidence proving their beliefs. You know.
I guess he's probably the only one who had anything interesting to say. Like the other ones were like, "Oh, I'm."
The other ones are just like whatever.
And they're smart enough to know to not like
It's just a coincidence.
do bullcrap.
I think Capelgate just didn't think about it that much.
That's
And that's what I'm doing.
Yeerks have sonar.
Yep.
Oh yes, I loved all of the Yeerk lore. It made me want to be a little slug.
Aw.
They have
Yeerks-
sonar. They have a very good sense of smell.
Yeah, sonar, smell, and touch are the 3 senses they have. So they use sonar to
They use
find the
sonar
body.
to
They find the heads.
communicate and then send messages all
Is that
around the
true?
Yeerk pool.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, because how else are... Because they're like, oh, Esplin 9466 to the loading dock to get it, whatever.
Can they not? I assume they can talk in here for some reason too.
Okay, well,
I guess they probably
you said
can't,
they
though.
have 3 senses,
Yeah.
and none of them were talking and hearing.
Those
so.
are the 3 that we'll mention.
I don't imagine they have little vocal cords and
Yeah,
mouths and
you're
tongues
right.
and whatnot,
Huh.
so...
That is cool.
I guess they use sonar to communicate. Like
they definitely have
in
sonar,
Morse
yeah.
code or something.
And that's cool that hasn't been mentioned before.
Because I was wondering how do they like find each individual Yeerk and like make sure they get back to the right body. And
Yeah.
whatnot.
Also, when they were they have to like manually access parts of the brain.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Which I assume like they go in the brain and say, oh, they control it. But he's like, oh yeah, I found the part of the brain that controls the eyes, and then I could see out his eyes.
That makes
I thought
more
that was
sense.
really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
That he doesn't just control the brain, and then he can
He's
see.
like, what is this part of the brain that I don't know
Yeah.
about?
Like I assumed you get in the brain and it's like, oh, you can see, but you have to find where the eyes are controlled and and do whatever. That chapter was good. That was explained.
Which chapter are we on?
I'm just going through my notes right now. I'm on chapter 6 on the notes. It seems Sturdy's done with his notes already.
I'm basically done.
I have more notes, but I don't really feel like going through them.
I'm done with this.
I have a new way of doing my notes for this where I pin little sticky notes on, and I have to click on each sticky note to see what the note it is, and I don't feel like doing that, so I feel like this is going to make me have way less notes for the future. It's fine, because most of them are just like, nice, or cool.
We've been very not in order for this episode.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Because we don't care
I
about this
don't,
book.
that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, it was fine. I think it worked well. Oh, I'm just gonna go through the stuff I like then.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there was a species that the Yeerks tried to take, but it failed because the Hork-Bajir is what they're called. The brains are not centralized, but spread in small nodes
That
throughout
was
the bodies.
cool. Thank you for reminding me of that. I love that.
Yeah, that was just a cool alien. So they don't have a brain; they have like brain nodes throughout the body, so they can't be
So
taken
the neurons
over.
are just kind of spread out, I guess.
Yeah, that was a cool little. That was fun. Capelgate's good at coming up with these weird alien things.
Yeah.
My next note from chapter 10. Suddenly I felt Aldrea's hand grab my arm above the wrist blade. It was not the first time she had touched me. Usually I enjoyed the fact that she would grab me for balance, or playfully slap me and pretended upset, or take my hand as we watched the sun turn red, but this was different.
I was not convinced that Doctor Hamee and Aldrea liked each other.
Yeah, me neither.
They just said, I love you, and I don't get why.
Oh, well, they spent the whole book together.
Yeah, but I
That's
didn't
it.
see
That's
that
all they
just
did.
Didn't have any
So one of them has
they
big
didn't have
muscles.
any chemistry.
One of them has big muscles.
When they talk
Oh my god, I wrote this. I had a note about this. Like,
The thing I just read says that sometimes they look at the sun together and playfully slap each other. So there's chemistry that was off. That
Off
wasn't
Off
explained.
screen.
Thank
I
you.
would have liked it if it were on screen.
But you hate romance.
No,
Yeah.
I love Rachel and Tobias's thing.
I
think
thought
it's stupid with Cassie and Jake, probably because of the same reasons. I believe it's
Aldrea?
just really forced,
I thought the romance in this book was unnecessary.
Aldrea.
unnecessary.
Well, I mean, it kind of had to happen in order for Doctor Hamee to exist. So, Aldrea.
I was expecting Dakami to just get with somebody else. Like I was like, oh, how are they gonna like have Dakami like marry somebody else? But nope, they didn't.
Aldrea.
Very similar to the ending of Andalite Chronicles when it didn't need to be.
That is why I gave this book a hop on pop. I will just get to that.
Okay.
Because I remember in chapter 19, I forget what happened, but I was like, oh no, they're gonna have a baby. Oh no, oh no, because she was like, I was at the appropriate age for interested in males, and
Yeah, that's
Dak
what-
was gonna be 7 feet tall soon, and there were no Andalites here, and I
That's
just
so
I'm
weird.
interested
That
in
was
having
so
a male.
weird.
And I was like, no.
I like that. I'm down with that.
And then like I kind of forgot about that. And then like way later in chapter 35, in all caps, was like, they all gonna have a kid, aren't they? Capelgate. And then it was like the exact same thing. It was the exact same as the Animorphs Chronicles. And the way that Visit 3 escaped was the exact same as in Book 8, because they were like, someone said like, oh, I think there was like a stream of water running somewhere nearby.
I was so mad.
He escaped the
There was
exact
a
same
stream
way.
of water that he crawled in and somehow got back to the other
I was
Yeerks.
like, why are all these things just taken from other books? But it's the stupid things. But so that's why I give it a hop on pop, because
All
just
right.
at the
That's
end, just
justified.
all the silly stuff started happening that was supposed to be like serious.
All my notes towards the end were, this is stupid, this is so stupid, stupid, this is stupid.
If we're
Yeah.
done,
That deserves a hop on pop.
something I thought was cool or interesting. Visit 3 is talking. He sees a fellow Yeerk named Carjo7901. I had known Carjo for a long time, but I'd never liked him. There had always been something too crude, too violent about him, too ambitious.
If Visitor 3 is saying you're too violent,
Well, yeah. I think that shows is like he changed a lot when he started controlling people.
Why just went insane because he's controlling the maniac Andalites.
Yeah.
the cinnamon
But I
buns
thought
on
that
people.
was, when I read that, I was like, oh, this is like giving Visitor 3 some sympathy toward him. It's like, oh, he doesn't think people should be violent and crude and ambitious, which violent and ambitious are the two words I think of when I think Visitor 3.
really.
So I thought that was just an interesting detail that wasn't
I
really.
kind of expected. I didn't actually, but just thinking about this now, Visitor 3 didn't like try to eat anything when he was at Hork-Bajir.
No, he didn't get a taste for it.
Even though he had a mouth.
See, the thing with Visit 3 is once he has experiences, he changes a lot. Like once he was
That's
introduced
true.
to a
Once
person,
he
he was
saw, he
he
was
was
like, I have to
he was
get
like,
another.
I'm gonna get an Andalite. That is my goal now. Now that I don't have this taste of this, I'm doing it.
Mhm.
He just becomes obsessed with these things. Oh, and then because people didn't listen to Visit 3, they were like, oh no, don't attack this family until the fourth one's here. And they're like, oh, she's probably inside. It's like, no, I studied Andalites. I know they don't go inside. And then because that, the girl survived. Like, Visit 3 is pretty smart in this book.
Yeah, he is.
Cinnamon Buns speculates that the moment he snapped was when he was like, when the monster ate his legs off, and then he was just lying there for like hours with no legs and arms and bleeding out. And
Wasn't he
Was just
stabbed
alone
in the
with a donut.
spine
What is
and turned
that, man?
quadriplegic?
There was in the mist someone he didn't even know we didn't even know it was him until it switched to the narrator. It was like, oh yes, I've been in this Hork-Bajir that got his legs chopped off. I sat there for a few hours and then I got saved and taken out.
the Hork-Bajir had slashed me with his blade. He had aimed the blow well. The spine of my host body was cut in two. All of the body below my chest ceased to exist. I lay helpless. No one came. For a very long time I lay there, staring up at the night sky through the ominous Hork-Bajir's trees.
Very interesting.
And the pain cannot be filtered out. The very capability that gives us control ties us into the pain.
So after Andrea's parents die, Aldrea or whatever, then she like becomes like she's like, I'm gonna kill all the Yeerks, killing all of them because they killed the parents. It's like freaking Batman or whatever.
Yeah, really.
And then she's like, would I help make the Hork-Bajir a race of killers to stop the Yeerks? Yes. I was like,
No
that
hesitation.
seems bad.
No hesitation.
That's when I started not liking her as much.
Yeah.
And
All
I
she cares about is killing the Yeerks. Like, that's her only character trait. Like, her love for Dak, her love, in quotes, for Dak is so secondary to her hatred of Yeerks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is painted as a good thing.
well, it's because they killed her parents.
I understand. It's, I mean...
Wait, what do you mean it's painted as a good thing? I didn't take that.
It's just painted as an Andalite thing.
Yeah, because like I like that the whole book, like Dak was like, no, I would rather be like slave than killer, basically. Like introducing my whole species to killing was a bad thing.
Oh, that's
What was that line about Dak, like, killing his own people?
I have it right here. Have you ever killed a fellow Andalite? No, why would you... You asked me to kill my own people today and to lead my people in killing their brothers.
This is referring to killing controllers.
Yeah.
Yes.
You say they are not Hork-Bajir, but Yeerks. But when the dead have given up their souls to Mother Sky, there will be Hork-Bajir bodies lying dead. Dak, we've been over this and over this, I exploded. It's too late to be worrying about all that. This is a war. If you want your people to survive, you will be quiet, Aldrea, Dak said. He didn't shout, he said it calmly in a low voice. These are my people who will die today. Be quiet, Andalite, be quiet. What a king.
What a king.
Aldrea was an Andalite first, my friend second, and she was hungry for revenge against the Yeerks.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good description of her character.
Yeah, so the book's aware of her character.
I like how insightful Dak was.
It doesn't make me like her, though.
No, it doesn't. No, I don't like her that much either.
I had destroyed their past, and now they had no choice but to follow me into a future they could not imagine. The monsters in our valley were destroyed that day. Only a few survived, but that was all right because we didn't need the monsters anymore. We had become them.
That was a little cheesy.
No, that was
Cheesy.
That's dramatic.
But in a stupid way.
Okay, but the book does think that Aldrea is and ultimately good because in one of the last chapters, Dak says, "But in the end, Aldrea was my true friend. She had lied to me, used me from time to time, and yet now, here in this black moment, she was my true friend."
But it doesn't say what you think it says, Dak.
Yeah.
They have come to kill Yeerks, not to help. It's the same thing. Listen to me, Aldrea. We're going to end up being pawns in this war between the Yeerks and the Andalites. That's not going to happen.
And he was right.
We'll see, I said.
Aldrea doesn't deeply regret.
I think she does.
She's just kind of oh.
Classic Andalites.
It's not really. I mean,
I don't like all of the characters' flaws being it's because they're an Andalite.
The fact of the fact that there's
I know that that's a reason, but that doesn't justify it.
The fact that there's 3 different narrators means that none of them is explored very well at all. And the one I would like to see most explored in the Hork-Bajir Chronicles is Dak.
The Hork-Bajir.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it should have been one narrator because none of you could say that Aldrea felt remorse over trusting the Andalites and blah blah blah, but that wasn't really in the book. That's just you're just inferring that.
Yeah, this is how people retroactively try to make the prequels of Star Wars good.
The blade ship was named by Aldrea and Dak.
But
Cool,
the Yeerks
thank you.
named it by themselves when they were on it.
They just happened to come up with the
They
same
just happened
names.
to come up with the same names.
Yeah.
Really stupid.
Aldrea and I have taken to calling it a blade ship.
Wait, how did the Animorphs first call them that? Did they just come up with those names, or did Elfangor call them that?
I think Alfangor told them.
Okay.
Maybe every single person just sees that and is like, well, yeah, it's a blade ship. What else would you call it? That's just a universal constant. Oh, at some point, Visit 3...
I didn't believe you, I admitted, Dak. I didn't believe you, I admitted. When you said you were forced to choose, you'd choose me. Of course you didn't believe it, Aldrea said. I was lying.
Yeah, when she said it, I did believe her, and I gave her too much credit as a narrator.
So you do agree that she's not a good character?
She is awful in so much of this book.
She's a strong, independent woman. Girl boss. They're allowed to be bad people if they're girl bosses.
No.
Literally this book.
But I don't think she's meant to... Does Chapelgate like her?
I liked her.
I don't know.
I just didn't like her when she was mean. I just was hopeful for
That's
her.
her entire character.
I just was hopeful for her character to be better.
Her redemption arc wasn't good enough.
One thing I wrote down is that at some point, Visor 3 is like, oh, maybe I'll be put on the Council of 13 even. I thought it was interesting that the Council of 13 changes. Maybe that's been said
Oh my
before.
gosh, Mustard, can you
Yeerks
please say something will actually lead to discussion?
Yeerks don't live forever, as far as we know. I mean, there's nothing that leads us to believe they live
Have
forever.
I only been saying bad
Really? It's
things?
the same 13 Yeerks?
We're all done with the book.
Ever since the
We
beginning
don't
of
care about
time.
anything else.
I'm
in
going
here.
to-
That's
No,
what
we're
you
not.
assumed, Mustard? Oh my gosh.
There
I
were
thought the
9
Council
visors.
13 was immortal year.
There were 9 visors, but every day there were promotions. Every day new sub-visors were added.
Really?
They might only be during the period of fast growth at the beginning, though.
It might only be
Really
during the
happening.
war where everyone's dying.
No, during the Andalite Chronicles, there were lots of moving up in ranks and stuff. I think it's just very fluid.
There isn't in modern times, the Visor 3's been there for a long time.
Well, he's at the
But
very
he's
top.
at the top.
Yeah.
That's true. You are my Andalites. This is what Dax says. This is the quote that I wrote down.
You say you are my Andalites?
You almighty Andalites. There's no limit to your arrogance, is there?
That's true.
Well, let me tell you something. We may be simple people, but we don't use biology to invent monsters, and we don't enslave other species, and we don't unleash a plague of parasites on the galaxy, endangering every other free species, and then go swaggering around like the lords of the universe. No, we're too simple for that. We're all too stupid to lie and manipulate. We're too stupid to be ruthless. We're too stupid to know how to build powerful weapons designed to annihilate our enemies. Until you came, Andalite, we were too stupid to know how to kill.
Man, this book could have been all written by a Hork-Bajir perspective and it would have been cool.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're slowly beating them down until they don't like it anymore.
I still like this book.
No, I always wanted... My first note was, why is there not very many Hork-Bajir in this book when the first one's all Andalites?
I do agree with things you said, though, by the way. I don't think this book's perfect. I just enjoyed it. I don't know why. Aloran had always been arrogant. Now, after months of hopeless battle, he was brutal, distant, and above all, exhausted. So his, effects of war started in this
Aloran
book.
didn't really get more characterization in this book, which I was also hoping for.
Yeah. He calls Aldrea a female child. He's like, silence, female child!
Lots of use of the word female as a noun, which is kind of cringe in this day and age.
Oh, really?
I am an Andalite. A female.
That's how you describe animals.
But I'm not like the other females.
Do you, describe yourself as, I am a human, a male?
No, but, isn't that how animals are classified, as male and female?
She's talking about herself. She's a person.
Yeah, but they're aliens.
I will now copulate with my alien wife.
Yeah, that's what they should have said. Yeah, I don't know why the quantum virus is designed to kill Hork-Bajir.
The Andalite homeworld doesn't have a name. It's just called the Andalite homeworld.
It says that the convention that they use is to name the planet after the sentient.
Lame.
Eh.
Do Andalites
So
have...
do they call the Earth just the human homeworld?
yeah, probably, yeah.
X doesn't really do that.
Doesn't it? Then was there the Animorphs Chronicles? Maybe. I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think we just call it Earth.
Oh, I remember she, okay, one part that annoyed me. Now, maybe this is how it works, but she talks to the computer and is like, oh, when she sneaks into the secret biochemical facility or whatever, where they're making it, she's like, oh, computer, what is this for? And it tells it. And it's like, computer, can you please put all of the biochemical you have in a small cylinder and give it to me?
And it's like, sure.
And it's like, okay, now that's kind of silly, but my question is, why doesn't she ask the computer if it can destroy the biochemical?
That's exactly
instead?
what I wrote down.
Why doesn't she do that? If it can put it all of it is made into a single canister and inject it into her, don't you think it has some kind of disposal protocol or something?
Again, I think the whole killing all the Hork-Bajir thing was just introduced in because Capelgate was like, crap, I wrote about this whole thing with Aloran. I gotta shoehorn it in again.
Yeah, Alan's character, I thought Alan's character, he seemed cool in Andalite Chronicles, then we did his backstory, and it's just nothing.
I really thought, the biochemical whatever that was foreshadowed in the Andalite Chronicles would be, way cooler than it was in this book.
Hey, you have a joke book, right?
Yeah, I do. I don't know how much joke we read, though.
Alright, epilogue and title.
Wait, I'm almost done. I have, 3 more chapters.
Okay.
Chapter 32, he says he loves her. Chapter 33, they kiss. And
What?
Chapter 33.
When?
Then Dak pressed his forehead horns to mine, and I felt the tingle of a sensation I had not guessed Hork-Bajir could feel. It was a Hork-Bajir kiss, I suppose. What we Andalites do when we stroke another's face with our palms. That's what Andalites kiss. They stroke faces with their hands.
They
That's
can't
not
kiss.
a kiss.
That's not a kiss.
That's just a
You guys are so racist.
Yeah, what the... They don't have mouths! What are they supposed to do?
Well, I can do
But
that.
they're like little
it's not a
noses together or
kiss.
something. I don't know.
They don't do that.
Touch their eye
They use their
stalks together.
hands. They use their hands.
Touch their
That's
eyes
lame.
together.
They
No,
need
it's
to do
not. How is that
something
lame?
That's how they
That's
kiss.
a friendly thing.
Because humans...
How many of your friends do you stroke their faces?
They have beards.
Brian, you are back and you have a ski beard.
When Esplin went inside the morphed brain, he says, there it was a Hork-Bajir brain physically, but within it was not the idiot Hork-Bajir mind, but the lightning-fast Andalite intelligence. So the brain is physically... The brain is physically the same when you're morphed. It is when you morph into an animal, you keep the animal's brain.
Yes, Mustard.
What do you mean, yes, Mustard?
Well, they morphed
You
into a
really thought every time the Animorphs morphed into their animal, it was a human brain in
They
there?
morphed a fly with a human brain.
Well, it shrinks, obviously.
Oh my god!
How would they keep the mind if they don't? If this,
It's from zero space. It's magic. The same way they have thought speak.
Listen, I'm saying it was clearly stated here, so that's
I'm glad that
canon.
was cleared up.
It's
Glad
cleared up.
something that nobody else was confused about was cleared up for you, Mustard.
I've been done with this book for an hour and a half.
I'm almost done. Hang on.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Stir.
the
I'm sorry
reason
for
Visit
him.
3 was defeated in this book is because he was in a Hork-Bajir and he was talking about get out of this Hork-Bajir and go into Aldrea, and he was defeated because they forgot to.
The Hork-Bajir was smart enough to pull the slug out, but not smart enough to kill it.
That's a good point.
Didn't want to kill it.
Yo, we Hork-Bajir are we don't like war. We're not violent. We don't kill.
I'll just
Wait, no.
No.
Was
No.
the Hork-Bajir
No.
who is. So I think what happened. I'm not sure about
Nobody's
this.
unclear on what happened.
No. I'm unclear now.
No.
Oh, good.
Is Visit 3 jumped out of this Hork-Bajir, went into Aldrea, and then the Hork-Bajir, the seer was like, hey, Hork-Bajir, kill those guys who are holding me down, and it did. And then I thought that...
That happened after it pulled the slug out.
Oh, it did?
Yes.
Okay, I thought Dak was the one who pulled the slug out
No.
No.
after that happened. Okay.
Dak was held down.
Yeah, so he told them to
Okay.
kill the guys holding him
Visit
down.
3 was defeated because he
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 neglected.
neglected to
that
think
when
of
he knew someone-
he didn't think of the body that he was in as being a factor, which I thought that was like silly, but I thought it was kind of
It's
realistic.
kind of
and
realistic.
It was
I wasn't
nice.
thinking about it, so sure.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about it either. So I was like, sure, yeah, Capricorn, I'll give it to you. That's
I just felt like he would have had time to get all the way in. If he had time to have to explain all the change all those memories and be like, oh, I haven't ended up running free in the wild.
he was jumping in still.
He's very long.
Yeah,
New Lord.
New
Visit
Lord,
3 is a long year.
Long year. So I thought that was a cool way that he was defeated. Something that none of us thought about when it was happening.
I thought of it, but I read the book, so never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at the.
No.
Oh my God.
Hang on. I'm almost done.
I'm so
I got that already.
sorry,
I
Stir.
got that already. The war was lost. Epilogue.
Yes, we haven't talked about the freaking epilogue yet.
Okay, explain the epilogue.
Nothing happens.
Wait, no, we revealed that that's a
We revealed
Toby.
Oh yeah.
Toby.
So
Just
first-
like your Firo.
So first of all, they revealed things we know already, which is
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I wonder what happened to that Yeerk. Oh, it was Visit 3.
Right there. We know that one, Tobias.
But
Tobias
Jeremy.
is really dumb in this.
Okay,
book.
you guys explain it while I finish reading my
Tobias
notes
is really
quick.
dumb in this book.
Well, I feel like he had a feeling of it. He already knew, but he just wanted to make sure.
Well, no, but he's dumb. He's like, oh, these guys can tell a bad story. And
Oh,
they tell
yeah.
a good story.
Okay, talk about the epilogue.
They have a daughter.
Jeremy and Kip Hellpack.
They have a daughter named Toby, named after Tobias, and then she's smart. She's so smart. She could talk in full sentences, even though she grew up around people who don't talk in
The
full
way this
sentences.
is described is kind of creepy to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
What, like she stares at Tobias and says, yes, Toby.
When you say
I-"
Toby is different, that's Tobias speaking. Jeremy and Kit didn't answer. Said the Hork-Bajir girl herself looked up at me and smiled a very serious smile. Yes, Tobias. Oh wait,
Yes, I am. What are you stopping for?
wait, that wasn't.
I thought that was creepy when it says, yes, Tobias.
Yes,
friend
Tobias,
Hork-Bajir."
friend of the Hork-Bajir. Yes, I am different.
That was like a horror movie, like a little girl just looking up at you and saying, yes, I am different. That was like creepy
Like
to
she was
me.
not even doing anything. She was just sitting there by, and then she looks up.
Yeah,
Yes, I am. different.
Tobias said, I guess we can hope someday there'll be another great Hork-Bajir seer like Dak and me. Oh, I guess there can be other seers, though, just not another great one. Okay.
What?
What?
Well, I was like, wait, there haven't been any seers since then? Because he says maybe someday there will be another seer.
God, it doesn't matter that there were seers because they were all controllers.
But it says great seer, which means there might have been other
Oh
seers.
my gosh.
I was like, wait, but also
There
there
were
are
other
less of them.
seers. They just didn't.
Isn't
what's the
Sears
right place at the
bankrupt
time?
now?
Whatever.
What? What'd you say? Toby Hamee, the descent of a brave Andalite girl and a Hork-Bajir seer, who was going to write the next chapter. Oh, and yeah, because the book kind of ends very suddenly, where they're like, oh yeah, and then the war was lost, and Tobias was like, what happens next? And they're like, oh, well, it's still being written.
Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in.
Why are you singing a song
No
about
one else-
umbrellas?
No one else can speak the
Wait,
words
what?
on your lips. No one else can write it for you. Something unwritten. The rest is still unwritten.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
So
I
I
forgot
don't-
like half of it.
Oh, you know that I was
Sorry.
going? I was like, oh yeah. I was like, why is he singing the "Feel the Wind on Your Skin" song? I was, oh, it's called Unwritten. for some
It's called
stupid reason.
Unwritten because that's in.
Oh, I didn't know
chorus.
that.
No one knows that line. They just know "Feel the vein on your skin."
Yeah.
No one else can feel it for you. I had no idea the song said "Unwritten" in it.
Yeah, me
but
neither.
I remember because you said that
I
before.
believe that.
What's the last book we read before this?
22.
2. Okay,
David book.
I need to download this and figure out what joke we told last. But first we need to talk about the cover. So I have the hardcover of this book. Wait, you're all done, right?
Yes.
Just making sure. So first of all, I bought this for $7. I could have bought a softcover one for $3, but I was like, "Hey, be natural. Is this book worth having a hardcover? It's good, right?" And you were like, "Oh yeah, that's a good one."
I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
$4
sorry.
mustard.
I remember it being good. I'm sorry. My 13-year-old self is stupid.
But I like it more than all you guys.
Like
though,
you- like
so,
you.
So it's fine.
Stupid like you.
I like the look of
Drench
it.
yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still
Cool
unwritten.
cover. One of my
I've
favorite
never
cover.
heard that. That's like
Definitely my
alternate lyrics
favorite
or
cover
something.
so far. I like it.
Why?
I hate the designs of the characters though. I hate how this guy draws aliens.
I like the
Aldrea's too
Hork-Bajir.
shiny. She looks gross.
They're kind of too shy. I don't like the Andalite, but I like the Hork-Bajir.
Hork-Bajir
that's
just
fine.
lumpy, and
Oh,
I don't see that and think, oh yes, that's covered in blades and knives.
He
That's
looks
just-
like a giant turd.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, thank you.
You look like a giant turd.
Wow.
Stop
Now we're
laughing,
fighting on the
baby.
podcast.
But like his skin is like puke green, and then his horns are like like Kelly green.
They don't
What's
look
up
like
with that?
blades. They look like
No.
spikes.
Yeah, but that's like an animal. You
But
know.
I don't see that, and then like okay, when the Animorphs first saw the Hork-Bajir, the first thing they said, "Wow, that's a lot of blades."
That can cut me open.
That's
Yeah.
why I drew him like a freaking axe with
Yeah.
a million axes.
This looks like it would cut me open if I like tripped on it and like at an angle and like
like
slip
it has
up
to
into
be a
it.
weird angle for it to cut, right?
And then the back cover. Oh
Okay,
my
yeah,
gosh.
I should say. So this back cover, this has some historical significance in the podcast because way back, like
I like
Probably-
the back cover. When I said I liked the cover, I meant the back cover.
Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
that's fair. That's fair.
Good.
So like 20 episodes ago, we stopped recording, and then we talked about this back cover for some reason because Be Natural sent us a picture of it, and this is when we found out that female Andalites are purple,
Well,
Because
no.
Be Natural assumed that we already knew
Yeah.
that for some reason.
and because
Because I've known
you don't
that
know
for
until
years.
this book,
Yeah.
and I think the reason you assumed it, I think, is because I made a joke
I
where
thought
I was like.
grapes.
Well, I was like, oh, maybe the reason that Visor doesn't like being purple is because that's what female Andalites are, and he doesn't want to look like a female.
It sounded like the stupidest joke, but
And
then
I was
it
like-
turned out to be true.
Yeah. I just think this. I just. So, good job, Capplegate, making me right.
At
when I
least
make
they are
dumb
pink.
jokes.
They could have been pink.
They could have been pink.
Yeah, they look
Blue
cool.
and pink. Yeah.
Also, it described it as a bluish purple.
Yeah.
This is
book.
definitely more purple than blue.
Yeah.
It's
Would
the
have been a nice
light.
periwinkle. Would have been nice.
Yeah.
Like James Team Rocket.
But yeah, we talked about this cover a bunch and how the position they looked.
Anyway,
Weird.
Aldrea's butt is right up against Hamee's genital region.
It's a
Also,
perspective
the butt's
thing.
way
They're
too
actually
big.
quite far away.
It's
butt
like a
is
really
way too
round
well
butt.
deformed.
Yeah, it looks like. Wait, hang on. You think they're far away, but that's Dak, right?
Yeah.
And it says Dak will soon be 7 feet. Aren't Andalites like 7 feet tall?
Yeah, why is he
So there's no way he's
huge?
that far away from her if they're roughly the same height.
Yeah, how small is Aldrea?
The tails are like intertwined.
No, they're not. Hers is in front.
But yeah, like they're
Both their tails
definitely
are
like
between their legs and at like suggestive angles.
Okay, then.
They're like almost making a heart.
yeah. And she's like grinding on him. It's
She's
weird.
totally grinding on it.
And now that
She's
we've read
totally
the book, it
grinding
makes
on
sense. We didn't know 20 episodes ago.
that does not look like Dak. Dak's not a big muscle man.
Why not?
All Hork-Bajir are big muscle men. That's why they're
He should
cool.
look younger. I assumed this was a really like I remember I was like, why is it so big? I didn't think they were that big. And you're like, oh, maybe this is just a really special big Hork-Bajir. Maybe it's a really tiny Andalite.
For some reason, I was assuming that this was like a cityscape and like the trees were like buildings, but like oddly shaped or something.
The trees look like giant pieces of poo.
I thought it was a
No, I didn't say that.
like a column in a cave. Like stone.
I see that, and my
Oh,
first
yeah.
thought is, it's a big muscular dino. I don't think.
Anyway, the
blades.
background is epic. I love it.
This is really.
Oh,
this
and
is
there's
a
the
good
blue
one.
mist of the deep, Father Deep.
Oh man, I didn't notice that.
Dude, she's just totally just grinding on it.
Oh, yeah, the
Grinding
blue mist
her
is-
butt on it.
The blue mist is on the front cover too. I noticed that looking at it earlier. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's the blue mist.
Oh.
That is cool.
I just hate the Andalite face.
The blue
Yeah, I
mist
don't
is
like the
good.
face.
Why is the head so human shaped?
I don't like the how shiny it is. Also, it's like and again, they just draw the Andalites with giant like gaps where their mouth would be, like giant just nothingness there.
Yeah.
It's like, why would they even
That's
have that?
stupid.
But whatever, I guess.
She has a very well defined jaw. Whatever
Yeah.
that jaw does is unclear.
Yeah, you just like jaw muscles. So that's the Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Did I talk way too much? I need to cut out half my talking.
No, we're just tired of this book. That's all.
Okay.
No, I'm just tired in general. I'm
This episode's about as long as all the other episodes, so we're good, I think.
Yeah, but I'm sleepy.
2.5 hours, that's like our average.
Oh, really? Even though it was like 30 pages longer?
Yeah,
Good job.
this seemed like longer.
This
than-
was a much less.
I think it was because we all did not care.
This was much less monumental than Animal Chronicles. But
Yes.
that's to be
Oh my-
expected with
Much
the
less
sequel.
monumental.
So much less.
I remember when I was reading. Okay, when I was reading, I was like, man, just the fact that like Viz with V's narrating is so cool. And I saw the rating that you didn't like it and you gave it a thumbs down. I was like, something really bad must happen at the end because I only had like 5 chapters left. I was like, what could possibly happen at the end here?
I finished reading this. I looked at the rating. I was like, is that right? What? I was taken aback that I got a thumbs down and a meh from you two.
Well, are you less surprised now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we end the podcast now?
Yeah, please.
Well, you have to start the outro.
Oh, I'm Binacro.
I'm better.
I'm mustard.
I'm sleeping.
Okay. No.
I
Okay.
thought something just broke.
No, this is my joke book on a keychain with the second half of the book. So I have a knock knock joke. That's the second one. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Linda.
Linda who?
Lend a hand to
Do
me.
you guys want to like guess?
Can you lend a hand?
You know who it is. It's me, Linda. Don't you remember my last name?
Is that really what it is?
No. I mean, I'm inviting you to
Lend
guess who
me
it is.
a cup of sugar, please.
It's that's close enough. That's
Lend me a hand?
that's close. So I'll tell you my
Well,
full
it'd
last
be
name.
Linda.
It is Linda something.
Lend a book at the library.
Lend me your ears.
I'm gonna read it.
Lend a
okay?
whole carton of milk.
Huh?
Because Linda who? Who whole
This is
carton
a
of milk?
diss to like another character.
What Linda? That is the question.
Linda pen to Jennifer, and she'll never give it back.
What?
Classic Jennifer behavior.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to just know who Jennifer is?
She'll...
That's what a specific thing for a
Yeah.
joke that could have been anything.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it has like at least it has like another joke in it. Just like the joke is rude.
Send her drawing.
The
Aldrea
joke-
just looks so mean.
the joke
too.
of
Like,
Jennifer
she has
is that she's
angry
rude.
eyebrows.
Okay, I'm stopping the recording now.
Thank you.
Some of you eagle-eared viewers might have noticed in the episode we got some rare audio of a Pokemon called Aldrea. Here's an unedited section of the episode. If you listen closely, you can hear it.
No,
Yeah.
I love Rachel and Tobias's thing.
I
think
thought
it's stupid with Cassie and Jake, probably because of the same reasons. I believe it's
Aldrea?
just really forced,
I thought the romance in this book was unnecessary.
Aldrea?
unnecessary.
Well, I mean, it kind of had to happen in order for Hamee to exist, so. Aldrea?
I
Aldrea.
was expecting Dakami to just get with somebody else. Like I was like, oh, how are they gonna like have Dakami like marry somebody else? But nope, they didn't.
Aldrea,
Very similar to the ending of Andalite Chronicles when it didn't need to be.